The action. Stay tuned for more exciting hockey coverage. Brought to you by Ewell, your power play partner. Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. NextGen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our NextGen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
Mr. Rooter visits the psychiatrist.
Tell me what you see on this ink blot test.
Easy. A toilet.
And this one?
A European toilet. Nice one, too.
And how about this one?
That looks like my mother, Mama Ruta, the day she sold her wedding ring to pay for my plumbing No, wait, it's a bidet.
Interesting.
To unearth clogs deeper than a repressed memory, trust only one man, Mr. Rooter.
When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today.
In the hustle and bustle world of today, the James Insurance Group would like to take this time to honor the Royal Canadian Legion, who continue to make a difference in the lives of veterans and their families. Today and every day, we honor those who gave their hearts and lives for our todays, lest we forget. A message from the James Insurance Group, online at tjig.ca. That's tjig.ca.
Sports Radio is back.
In the early going as he is hindered as losing streak brings it back in. Side of the net. It'll be Kulak moving the puck. Rebound scores! Kulak moved in. And an Edmonton area kid has the opening goal.
The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
In over the cast and the wrap. Now Gloveless. He's got Eckler. And Eckler's got the sideline. Eckler got a touchdown. Austin Eckler from 39 yards out.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome to the Positive Friday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. How are you? Something tells me this will be a spirited show today. The text line at 833-401-1440, presented by Jiffy Lube, will be humming along. The Gregor Show, as always, is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And baby, the weekend is almost here, and Friday means Lotto Max. This week's Lotto Max draw is worth an estimated $13 million. Get your tickets online today at playalberta.ca. That would be a way to lessen your frustration level. The Edmonton Oilers, they didn't play poorly last night, but they once again made just some major gaffes. Like, look at the goals the Oilers scored and then compare it to Dallas's goals. And if you're hearing this and saying, where have I heard that before? It's because we've been talking about this for years. The Edmonton Oilers are the best team in the NHL at gifting goals to the opposition. Like, look at Sam Gagner's goals. First one, just hammering it around the net. Right? Banging it around the net. You look at his second goal. Now, they got a little bit lucky, right? He didn't get much on it. Fine. But was it easy? Was it a 3-on-1 from center ice? Was it a 2-on-1 from the offensive blue line? No, it wasn't. And if you look at the game last night, now Cody Cece's played really well, but that's a pinch you can't make. No one's covering him at that point. You can't pinch there. They go down. Matt Duchene scores 1-0. Now, some would say, hey, Stuart Skinner needs to make a save. Whatever. It's a 2-on-1 from center ice. You know, it's great if your goalie makes a save, and I could argue, yes, every now and then your goalie needs to make a big save. Fair. But I don't hang that on the goalie. Then, they get a power play goal. Kind of a lucky power play goal, similar to the Gagner one. So let's say Gagner's second goal, Stars power play goal, they even out, right? There you go. You look at the Stars' second goal. Philip Broberg's coming in. He's going to dump the puck in. And he doesn't. He doesn't get remotely deep. They go to change, and now it's a 3-on-1 because they're caught changing. When you're the play, it's like being the last guy back at the blue line, and you try to deke someone out. Broberg knew his teammates were tired. They're trying to get off, and he can't get the puck deep. It's like a simple play, can't do it. Goes down the other end of the ice, a 3-on-1, boom, goal. Now it's 3-1. The Oilers like, okay, we got to come out hard in the third. And they get a chance. It comes back the other way. It's a 3-on-3. Ekholm, Bouchard, McDavid. And Dallas doesn't even take it wide. Why? Because for reasons unexplained, Evan Bouchard on a 3-on-3 says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put myself out of position, and I'm just going to slide over to the boards. This is simple hockey. You tell your defenseman all the time, protect the middle of the ice. He finds himself almost on the boards for no reason. The puck wasn't even there. It's not like he got sucked into puck watching. He just floats over to the far right side of the boards, which allows Rupe Hintz to come right up the gut. Goes to that. And Bouchard, once he realizes, oh, geez, watch his reaction. There's no urgency. None. Just kind of ho-hum. Well, hopefully I can get back there. Didn't happen. 4-1 game. And you know what? I give the Oilers credit. Sam Gagner scored 2 goals. The building was electric. Edmonton had chances, but you're down 3 goals. It's really hard to win. And they lose 4-3. And yeah, it's great. Oh, they had 49 shots. And there were stretches where they played well. Great. But it doesn't, like, you can play well. But you know what? If you make glaring errors, that's worth like 10 minutes of good play. Maybe more. It's actually worth more because it's a goal against. And the Oilers are now 2-6-1. And I'm sorry, but until this team can show consistent signs that their give a bleep meter to the defensive end of the ice is high, they're not winning. They said all the right things and have come out and shown none of it. None of it. Hey, great. They can drop F-bombs in the postgame. Oh, you know how angry we are? We're going to drop an F-bomb. Yeah. But we're not actually going to do something about it. We're not actually going to go. You're not actually going to call one of your teammates out ever. Right? You're never actually going to demand higher level of accountability. No. But we'll just drop a few F-bombs in the postgame because that shows how frustrated we are. Yeah, that'll be good. It's a new cool thing now for that team. Give me a break. It is beyond ridiculous. Their lack of willingness to play sound defensive hockey. No one's asking them to be the New Jersey Devils of the 1990s. Even in the history of the Devils, except maybe this year. No one's asking them to be that good of a defensive team. Just have a level of pride in your defensive game, for God's sakes. Like, are you kidding me? It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. From outside of the Calgary game, it's just like, oh, how many easy chances can we give up? I bet you I can. You know what? You thought that was a bad play? Wait till next game. I'll show you another one. All right? Like, give me a break. I'm sorry. I don't want to hear one more garbage answer or fake outrage from this team. I'm so tired of it. Yeah, we're very upset. Oh, yeah? How upset? Because I don't see any accountability. No one ever misses a shift unless you're the seventh defenseman or the fourth line winger. No, God, we can't do that. Couldn't ruffle anybody's feathers. Jeez, we're the Edmonton Oilers. We're 2-6-1. We went to the conference final 2 years ago. We went to the second round last year. We don't need accountability. We'll just say it. And we'll keep talking all the right things. Actions speak louder than words. And that doesn't mean that the Oilers are playing terrible all game. No. They had lots of stretches where they were the better team on the ice. But they were rarely the smarter team on the ice. And they were rarely the consistently more committed team. Did you see Dallas giving up odd man rushes to the Oilers left and right last night? Like, look at even the Oilers' first goal. A broken play, kind of gets lucky as Nugent Hopkins slips into the zone, falls. The puck comes out and gets to the cane after it looked like it might have been offside for Hyman bringing in, but luckily Dallas brought it back into their own zone, so that negates the offside. Way to go. That's an unlucky play. That's not a bad play. It's not a lack of commitment play. Like, seriously, go through the games. Nobody is better in the NHL than the Edmonton Oilers at gifting goals. And you know what? We talked about this last year. And then they fixed it for a while. And then you got to the playoffs, and guess what? Same problem. So, pardon me if I don't buy. And some people want to blame the coach. Sure, you can blame the coach. Now, he's part of the team, right? He's part of the team. So, he's accountable to something, no question. But no coach in his right mind is saying, hey, guys, on a 3-on-3, why don't you just float out of position to the far side of the ice? That's what we want. We're just going to open up the middle of the ice. That's never taught, ever. Right? Now, you want your defense to pinch in sometimes, but the defenseman, and Cody Cece's actually played really well. But horrible game for him. Just like it was a horrible game offensively for Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl actually played pretty well in the first 8 games. I had no issue with his game. But his one-timer is off. His frustration level's high. How many passes did he try to make that were intercepted by Dallas last night? 6 or 8 in the offensive zone? Guess what? Stop being pretty. It's not working. For whatever reason, your passing's a little bit off. So, simplify your game. That's what good players do. They don't just keep being stubborn. And hey, Sam Gagner, you know what? He's the one guy giving us juice. So what does the head coach do? In the final 2 minutes, coming out of a timeout, he goes with the 6 guys that are on his power play and says, oh, Gagner was the next guy over the boards. Oh, isn't that nice? He was the next guy over the boards. Why the hell wasn't he one of the 6 over the boards? Coach each game differently. I get that you got to run loyalty to your best players. I'm not saying, but I don't think Zach Hyman's skin is that thin that he's suddenly going to be like, wow, this is unacceptable. No. Of course I'm putting Draisaitl and McDavid on the ice because they're top 5 scorers for the last 5 years, top 2 scorers, excuse me. But give me a break on never, ever changing something or maybe rewarding a guy for actually being the one who instilled some emotion, not only to your team, but into a building. Like, I'm not saying that Gagner would have scored, but come on. How's he not on the ice? Don't give me the well, you know what? He was the next guy over the boards. What does that even mean? Next guy over the boards. How often, like, the only time he's the next guy over the boards is if they dump it out, it's probably because they're shooting for the empty net. And either they're going to score or it's going to be icing. How often do you see them change in the offensive zone? So, it's there's a lot of things wrong with the Edmonton Oilers. And I get that the Oilers players, they can't get down and be negative, but my God, you can at least ask for some accountability inside your room without being negative. And then actually have enough guys willing to show it. Right? Like, I'm sorry. If somebody isn't reading Evan Bouchard, the riot act, inside that room after that play, I don't know what's going on. Now, maybe they did. And they keep it quiet, that's fine. But that, if you lose a battle every now and then, that's going to happen all the time. There was no battle lost. It was the parting of the wide open middle of the ice. It's a gift goal. And it was awful. Awful for the Oilers. So now, here they are, they're 2-6-1. So, as you guys all know, and gals, I like to do a lot of research, look up stuff. So I spent time looking at how many teams in NHL history have started a season with 5 or fewer points in their first 9 games and then rebounded to make the playoffs. Now, this is the whole history of the NHL. Any guess, Connor?
That's a tough one. I don't even know where I would guess. I'm
like
really,
95 years.
Really intrigued. Let's say, because I like the number 20, 21 times.
52.
52. Okay.
Okay, so 52 teams have done it. Now, 13 of those occurred in the original 6 era. So we eliminate them because it's not really comparison. Then 4 more happened when it was a 12 to 17 team league from 68 to 79. I'm not including them. From 1990 to 1991 was a 21 team league. It happened a lot, 16 times, right? So there's 33 times gone, right? If you look at it, since the league in the era of the salary cap and the overtime / shootout loss, it has happened 4 times where a team has made the playoffs starting out with only 5 or fewer points in their first 9 games. 1, the Washington Capitals, and they actually did it in the lockout shortened season of 2013. They started 2-6-1, were outscored 33-21, and then they went 25-12-2 in their final 39 games. They finished 4th in the Eastern Conference. And you got to remember, they had much fewer, like the Oilers have 73 games left. They only had 39, and they made it. So that's pretty impressive. The 2014 Flyers did it. They were actually 2-7, so only had 4 points, and they went 40-23-10. The 2015-16 Anaheim Ducks started out 1-6-2 after going to the conference final the year before, losing in Game 7 of Chicago. Like, they were a good team. They actually had 109 points in 2015, then started out of the gate 1-6-2. 4 points. They had 9 goals in their first 9 games that year. They were like the San Jose Sharks of this year offensively. But they woke up, then they went 45-19-9, outscored teams by 48 goals, and finished 4th in the West with 103 points. And the most recent one was the Dallas Stars in 2019-20, also a shortened season. They were 1-7-1. Had 3 points in their first 9 games. Didn't look very good. Then they caught fire, went 36-17-7. They had the 5th in points, 4th in points percentage. Remember that one, Oilers fans, when Gary just decided to come up with another fake rule at the time? And so Dallas got the bye in that opening round, and Edmonton played and lost to Chicago. So the Stars actually went to the Stanley Cup final that year. So those are your 4 teams. In all of NHL history, the Oilers are only the 9th team ever to have 100 points and then start the next season as bad as they have. The 81 Bruins and Canadiens both did it. They both made the playoffs. The 96-97 Penguins did it, made the playoffs. 2002-2000 Toronto Maple Leafs did it. They made the playoffs. Then the 07 Flyers didn't make the playoffs. The 2011 Devils didn't make the playoffs. The Ducks made it. The Canadiens didn't make it. So, history's 5 out of 3 out of a 100-point teams. And I think that was important because you're a good team. You don't just lose all your players. You're still a decent team. So, can the Oilers be the 6th out of 9? And the last one I looked at, because I knew everybody would look and say, okay, Gregor, we know that there's 4 teams who did it. Well, how many haven't done it? Good question. Took a little bit more research. So, since 2005, 2006, if you look at it, 24 teams who started as bad as the Oilers or worse ended up being bottom 5 teams in the league. I don't think the Oilers are a bottom 5 team. I'm not going to compare them to them. You're talking Anaheim last year, Montreal, Arizona, Chicago the year before, Ottawa, back-to-back years. You know, like the Edmonton Oilers actually in 2013-14 were one of those teams. Then you had 4 teams who were bottom 10. They finished 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Now, do you think the Oilers are a bottom 10 team? Maybe. They're definitely not a bottom 5 team, and I'm not sure with that talent that they should be a bottom 10 team. So that leaves either the 2014 Devils, who had finished with 88 points after a terrible start and missed the playoffs, or the 4 teams who made it. Right? That's it. So it's either you make the playoffs or you're a terrible team, and then there was the one outlier of the New Jersey Devils, who were closely competitive and missed the playoffs. So you ask yourself, where do you view the Oilers? Are they a lottery team, bottom 5? I don't think anybody thinks that. Are they a playoff team, or are they a bottom 10 team? Let us know, 833-401-1440. We're going to have some text line, some open line time coming up next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Thinking about solar power? Action Electrical wants to eliminate your entire home or business power bill and keep more cash in your pocket. With effective paybacks in 5 to 9 years, give solar a chance with Action and put your lazy roof to work. Alberta is the second highest province for the amount of full sunlight hours, and with system life exceeding 25 years, solar power is like a McDavid draft pick. Still have questions about solar power? Contact the professionals at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
When you call CBS,
hello, Corporate Business Solutions.
You'll speak with a real live person located right here in Edmonton. No 1-800 number, no call centers, no waiting on hold forever. Just trained, experienced, and local service technicians. CBS is Western Canada's largest Konica Minolta factory authorized dealer of multifunction office equipment, printers, software solutions, and mailing machines. Corporate Business Solutions. Local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
It's an action-packed weekend of Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat.
Tonight, your Edmonton Oil Kings take on the Moose Jaw Warriors.
Then it's a special Sunday 6 p.m. puck drop versus the Medicine Hat Tigers. Family fun Sunday, featuring face painting and kids fun zone before the game.
Plus, at every Oil Kings home game, score kids food combos for $10 or less.
Edmonton, Moose Jaw, tonight at 7.
Oil Kings, Tigers, 6 p.m. Sunday.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Hi, Larry Ricci from Vision RV, reminding you that now's the time to start thinking winterization. The cold stuff is on the way, so be proactive and protect your investment with Vision RV's thorough and affordable winterizing packages. You'll be all set for the off-season with help from our amazing service team. So kick back and relax in our comfy customer lounge while we get to work, or stroll around and see what's new. We look forward to seeing you here at Vision RV, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter. So you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll, without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Try their new one-topping garlic or spicy garlic epic stuffed crust for $21.99 for a limited time at papajohns.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 2:25 on a positive Friday on Sports 1440. Yeah, I'm positively fired up. I'll tell you that. Positive that the Oilers better wake up and have some commitment to playing smart. It's not even a lack of effort. It's playing smart. Know your position. Understand where your teammates are on the ice. Make the small plays. The small plays are the ones that add up. And stop gifting goals. It's the same problem. And I don't, you know what? It's easy to want to just blame the coach. I'm not excusing the coach, but this is an issue that has gone on before this coach was here. Now, if you want to see he hasn't been able to get it out of their game, okay, sure. Why? I have no idea. But the level of accountability within that dressing room needs to improve if this team wants to get back in the mix. They're skilled enough to get back in there. I don't question that. Do they have the will to want to do it? Do they have the commitment internally to say, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm not gifting easy goals to the opposition. Also, we're going to bear down when we get chances. It's part of scoring, man. It's not just luck. Not just luck at all. So, lots of text to get to. 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. And Gregor, last night the Habs played Arizona. According to NHL attendance was 4,600. The rink holds 5,000. Why would anyone want to build a bigger rink there? Can't find a ticket in Canada when the Habs are in town. Thoughts from Neil in the hat? Well, probably price, right? There's no ticket that's less than $200 in that building because they have so few seats. And I think there's a lot of fans who are like, I'm not that much of a fan that I want to pay that much money. Look at Edmonton last night. Did you see the second deck? There were some empty seats there as well. So, hey guys, how many of those teams changed the coaching staff to finish how they did? From Rob. Well, Rob, I can tell you, none of the teams that made the playoffs did. Now, the teams that I didn't look at, some of the bottom 5 teams, I could probably go through the list off the top of my head. And look at Anaheim last year, right? They didn't change their coach. Montreal last year, right? Because last year was the first full season of St. Louis. Arizona didn't change their coach. Ottawa back-to-back years, DJ Smith didn't change their coach. LA in 2018-19, I think they might have relieved their coach during the season. I'd have to look. But none of the teams have made the playoffs. And if you're a bottom 5 team, I don't think it matters. The coach isn't going to make a bottom 5 team suddenly that much better. That just doesn't happen. You need a better player. When you're a bottom 5 team, there's a reason you're a bottom 5 team. It's because you're not very good. Right? Not at all. So. Hey, guys, it's ridiculous. The record versus capability is real, but man, you pretty much have the same team that played Vegas. Now they're a lottery team. Even the Oracle of Delphi couldn't have predicted this. I like that line from Spruce Grove Rick, brother of Leduc Dan. Oh, man. Well, I agree with you. No one thought the Oilers would be this bad because they shouldn't be. Right now, this is a choice that the players are making on a game-to-game basis to not be committed to giving up easy goals, to not be committed to playing even sound defensively. They're not committing to it. It's not like they lack the talent, because playing sound defense isn't even about talent. It's about a will and a desire and the smarts to do it. That's what it's about. Scoring goals, finishing regularity, you need some talent. Right? That's a fact. Like Warren Fogel's a hell of a player. Look at last night. Great play to get the breakaway, can't finish. Now, unlucky, sure, he hit the outside of the post. But that's Warren Foegele. Like, Warren Foegele is a 13 to 15 goal scorer. He's not a 25 to 30 goal scorer. He gets a lot of the chances, but it's hard to finish. Scoring goals is the hardest thing to do. The Oilers have offensive talent, but they don't have a willingness or a desire to consistently play defense. They've shown it in spurts. But, man, it is hard to do it all the time. And then the other thing is, get outside the comfort zone. I was watching the Boston Bruins Toronto game before the Oilers last night. Did you see David Pastrnak? David freaking Pastrnak. He was running Toronto's show in the first period. He's out there hitting everybody. He's being physical. Now, does anybody, when I think of David Pastrnak, think, oh, physical player? No, you think of an elite goal scorer, right? But he's been in Boston. They've got a culture in that room that I don't care what your name is. We're going to play hard. And it's infectious. And the Oilers don't have that. They don't. They don't hold each other accountable enough because it consistently keeps happening. That's a fact. Now, they can sit here, if they're listening, and say, well, that's not true. We hold each other accountable. But do you? Because where is the accountability that equals the results? Right? That's all I ask. Where is it? So, Oilers have enough talent to be much better than the record. I don't think there's anybody who disagrees with that. But do they have the will and the desire to eliminate the easy goals? So now, that doesn't mean you eliminate them completely. Reduce should be the better word by me. Reduce it. Maybe there's one every 4 or 5 games. It's going to happen. It can't be one every game, excluding Calgary. Or when Jack Campbell stood on his head and made 42 saves. But look at all the other games. Look at where you would have a blown coverage that has nothing to do with talent. It's not like the Oilers have a bunch of defensemen who are very immobile and everybody just turnstiles them and skates around them. They don't have that. So, to me, you got to wake up. Hey, Gregor, who knew that Nick Bjugstad's absence would be felt so much? Tube sock. Yeah, if only you could say it was one player. Because I'll say this. Nick Bjugstad was here. He couldn't stop the other players from making the errors that they're making. And the thing is, they showed you they can do it. Look against Calgary. Calgary had 0 high danger scoring chances in the first 40 minutes, 5-on-5. 0. They had 0 scoring chances off the cycle. They had 0 shots from the slot. Now, that's obviously an extreme, really good game. Even the Winnipeg game. Now, Stuart Skinner, unfortunately, he made the error. Led to the tying goal. The Jets only had 6 high danger chances the entire game. That's a really good number. The Oilers have played 9 games. There's been games where they've allowed 17, 16, 14, 12, 15. Only 3 games in single digits. You can't be that Jekyll and Hyde all the time. You know what? And I guess, hey, shame on me. I thought after the way they played in Calgary, like, oh, there, they showed they woke up. Here we go. And I got sucked in to believing all of the stuff that's said afterwards. Yeah, we're ready now. That's what we're capable of playing like. And then they came out in the very next game when they had 3 days of practice. And that was the performance they decided to show. Hey, let's gift 3 easy goals last night. The power play goal was a lucky bounce. Not a gift. That's a lucky bounce. Just kind of like the Gagner was, right? That's going to happen in the game of hockey. There's lots of luck. It is unreal how incapable they seem of just deciding to say, you know what? I'm going to owe it to my teammates, because every team that wins talks about how the commitment comes from the players. Yeah, sure, the coach might devise a nice system. That's great. But at the end of it, it comes down to the players. Willingness to want to do it. Hey, Gregor, I'm sick of people talking about McDavid being hurt. Well, the Vegas Golden Knights won the Stanley Cup. They had major injuries all year from Ontario Momes. Bang on, my man. Bang on. Again, Connor McDavid being a little banged up has 0 to do with Evan Bouchard. It has 0 to do with Cody Cece's pinch, and it has 0 to do with Philip Broberg. And that's just last night. Those aren't the only players, right? Connor McDavid himself was responsible for one, right? In Philly. So his lack of offense, by his standards, has 0 to do with their willingness. If anything, if he is banged up, which people are guessing, I can't say he's banged up. I don't know. Oh, I wonder maybe he's got a hand injury or something, not taking a lot of face-offs, right? Sure. Passing's a little off. Okay, sure. But that has nothing to do with the Oilers' inability to play sound, consistent, committed defense. It's 2 completely different conversations. If you want to say, hey, the Oilers' offense is lacking a bit because McDavid doesn't look 100%, totally valid. Sure, I could have a conversation about that. But that isn't an excuse to be clueless or lacking in commitment defensively. It's not remotely connected. If anything, because trust me, the teammates will know if a guy's banged up. That should make them say, geez, we've got to be even more committed defensively. They're not. Hey, Gregor, the Oilers are notorious for slow starts. It's been happening every year since McDavid was drafted. The only season they started good was 16-17. They were 8-4 at some point. The other years, they're losing record. Doesn't make sense when you have new coach GM players from AZ. AZ, that is actually false. The Oilers have started 5-0 in 2 of the last 5 years. Okay? They were 16-5 a few years ago. The Oilers have actually only been under 500 in their first 10 games once outside of this year in the last 6 seasons. Right? That's false. This slow start, remember, the Oilers started last year, they were 7-3 out of the gate. And then they went 3-7 in their next 10 to be 10-10. They haven't historically started slow under McDavid. That's actually false. So hey, Gregor, what are the reasons the Oilers are clueless defensively? Can you give 1 or 2 reasons why they're clueless? It's a commitment. It's that simple. Look at how they played down the stretch last year. And I'm sorry, I know everybody's like, well, now they got Matthias Ekholm. It solves all the problems. No. Now, he might have been an example for other players to say, okay, sure, we want to do it. But then you also have to look at who they played down the stretch. They had a little bit of an easier schedule. So maybe that was part of it. Because they've had games, they've had stretches. The Oilers were the 6th best team in their final 30 games in goals against. Chances for. They were actually like top 5 in high danger chances against. So they've shown if they consistently want to commit to it, they can do it. But they won't. And I don't have the answer. You could ask them and they'll get, well, if I knew the answer to that, we'd do it. Well, no, because it's simple. It's more about a commitment than a skill. Okay? It's not a skill to match the work ethic of your opposition on a night-to-night basis. Right? It's a commitment. It's not a skill to make the simple play 2 feet from your blue line always. Just, you know what? I shouldn't say that. It is a skill to be consistent. That is a skill. I apologize. I'll take that back. I think it's a skill to be committed. And the Oilers have shown that they can't do it for whatever reason. And like I look last night and the frustration in Leon Draisaitl, there are nights when, guess what? Your passing's not going to be on, even for the greatest passer in the game. And at that point, you have to simplify your game. So one thing that Sidney Crosby did exceptionally well. If there was a night where he wasn't feeling it with the little fancy passes, then guess what Crosby did? He'd cycle the puck, and he'd find a way to beat you differently. And the Oilers last night, their top line anyway, because it was really the Nugent-Hopkins-Kane line, and then when Gagner got put on there, because even before that, Nugent-Hopkins and Kane scored the goal. Go look at their shot totals. They were fine. It was the other line, and their stubbornness to want to say, okay, you know what? We got a little bit more in straight lines tonight. We're not going to try the backhand sauce pass. We're not going to try to thread one through the skates. It's not there today, so we're going to go to something different. And they don't do it. And then you've got Evan Bouchard defensively who, for whatever reason, decides he's just going to float. He's just going to float right out of the play. I watched that goal again, and I was like, what? It's a 3-on-3. There was nothing dangerous about that rush. Just stay in your lane at the dots. You never want to get outside there. There's no reason to. None. There wasn't even pressure on his side. So I don't know what you do there, man, but it is. And it, it's Nashville. And here's the thing. They could spank Nashville tomorrow because that's what they do. That proves nothing to me. When I come here on Monday, the Oilers, if they win 7-1, I'll say, great. Yippee. Now let's see what you do against a Vancouver team that's playing with some confidence. They beat you twice this year. And you've gifted them a lot of goals in those games. Can you be better? We'll see. And then even if they do it then, because then they got San Jose after that, my goodness. The Sharks are awful. The Sharks are going to push for the NHL record, I think, for infutility offensively and overall points. They're that bad. And I don't care if you beat them, if they don't beat them 6-1, Does it look bad? Maybe. There might be a night where the Sharks decide to score 2 goals. It's happened once. But until I see 3 weeks or a month where the Edmonton Oilers significantly reduce their glaring errors, I'm not buying it. I'm not getting fooled again. Because I thought the Calgary game was like their slap in the face wake up. It was more of a slap in my face that I need to wake up because I was wrong. Take a quick break and return on Sports 1440. Got a lot of text flying in. 833-401-1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube as well.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind,
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
When you think local, think corporate business solutions. Local service, local support, local always. CBS is the largest Konica Minolta office equipment dealer in Western Canada with a full line of multifunction office devices, printers, mail machines, and software solutions. When you call CBS, you'll speak with a live person located right here in Edmonton, and most issues can be resolved over the phone within 20 minutes or less. Call Corporate Business Solutions today, 780-490-5600, or visit cbsca.com.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. There's something going on every day at OTR on Monday, Bingo Tunes, Taco Tuesday, Karaoke on Wednesday, Salsa Night Thursday, and live music every weekend on the OTR stage with DJ Kenny K, On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Pause of Friday continues on. I know. Probably doesn't seem that way today. But there's still lots of good things to discuss. Cam Tate will join us right away. We are going to talk to a defense guy. And trust me, we'll talk about defense and just a commitment and a will to do it. Because it is hard. We'll talk to a guy who kind of made a career of it. It's coming up. But first, we're going to get to Cam Tate. The 2-minute warning, which today is brought to you by NextGen Transportation. Heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated. NextGen Transportation.com. Cam Tate, of course, has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair and struggles at times speaking clearly. And so he's always wanted to be on radio. He's been a beat reporter in Edmonton for a long time. And through the wonders of technology, now we get to hear from Tater every Monday and Friday.
A letter to Sam Ganoia, November 3rd. 2-minute warning with what's his name, Cam Tate. Fast Eddie here, reading Tater's words. Dear Sam, what? Only 2 goals? How about that February 12th game back in 2012? Gee, I had hair back then. When you, Sam, had 8 points. Remember that? Pittsburgh was here, 8 points. And they made you Doozardly, so first, second EM, third star, great night. And then last night in your homecoming, missed the parade, you score 2, a pair, a deuce. In the third period, Dallas? That all you got, the Sammy boy? Seriously, Sam, your third period production was exactly what the gang who are mightily trying to find their way in this infant season with a baby, frankly, howling their head off. Your return to the Oilies gave them hope, trailing 4-1 in the third period. It looked like the Oilers were risking being booed off the ice, and the usual joyous T-dirt toss becoming the opening act today. Take your hearing aid out there, Grandpa. Jersey on the V-ice toss. You changed that. And they need someone with your experience on the offensive zone. Someone to be the spark plug of this outfit. Someone with experience. On the E home from the rink, it was interesting to see tweets. No, Chief McPhee, I wasn't driving, just texting, saying after only 1 game, you are the Oilers' top goal scorer. 1 game in 60 minutes, half a Brian Hall lecture. Now, Sam, you realize that with this offensive outburst comes the ER word. Responsibility. You've set a standard. Now the key is to maintain it. Saturday afternoon, 1:00, when the Nashville Predators are in town. If you could increase your productive, please don't think you'll have the weight of the season, the franchise, the fan base, and the rest of this minor things. A hat trickle. Perhaps Mondays and Fridays, the 2-minute warning. The Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Sam Gagner, you know what? He brought some energy, brought some emotion. Where did he score his goals from? Right around the crease. Right, you got a lot of guys with donuts on this team. You don't see them banging home very many goals from the crease area. Well, at least not often enough. And you got to, if you want to score consistently in the NHL, excluding like the 2% of elite goal scorers, guys who can score from distance, Draisaitl, Matthews, Ovechkin, etc., most goals come in tight. Banging home rebounds, stopping around the net, having the will to beat a guy to a loose puck. That's what Gagner did last night. And hey, got a little lucky on the second goal for sure. It's not like that was a Picasso of a goal, but went to the net, got rewarded. Happens all the time. But again, that's another part of the commitment we talk about. The Edmonton Oilers often don't create enough traffic in front. It's a commitment to go there all the time. Ryan Smith wasn't more talented than a lot of players. He was infinitely more committed to be willing to pay the price and go and stand in front of the net and take a beating. Now, he worked really hard at becoming a good tipper, so that was a skill. But a lot of his other goals, man, was just sheer guts and determination. So you need guys who want to do it. Now, let's get to the football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 full year. Get your furnace today at legacyheating.ca. Our next guest, a gentleman knows a thing or two about winning and just the will on defense. A lot of times it comes down to just the will, you know what, get in the lane. You know what they're going to do? Stop your guy. AJ Gaas, defensive coordinator for the Alberta Golden Bears football team, joins us. Of course, they host the Saskatchewan Huskies tomorrow. The Oilers play at 1:00. The Bears game starts at 5. So, hey, you want to double dip? You can do both tomorrow. AJ, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing?
Good. I'm curious, as a coach and on the defensive side, there's, obviously you need talent, but there's a lot of will involved at times. How do you feel you can help coach a willingness and a desire into your players?
You know what? That's a really hard thing to do. You know, it's one of those things where most of the time it's either you got it or you don't. I think by challenging guys, putting them in the best positions to succeed, kind of brings that out. But, if you're a dog, you got a dog's mentality inside you. And a lot of times it's just something that coaches can enhance, but can't really give it to them to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. And I ask that because a lot of times people, the coach should just coach it. I'm like, well, it's not that easy. Like you don't, I like what you said. Hey, you kind of have the dog in you, and not everybody has to be a dog all the time to be a successful team, right? You got different players at different times. There's some guys who are excellent cover guys who weren't overly physical in the secondary, and they made long careers out of it. There's nothing wrong with that. And then there's other guys who would punish you. So it kind of all depends. AJ, how do you feel your defense stacks up heading into this weekend? You've played Saskatchewan twice this year. You've beat them twice. What have you liked about your defensive performances in those two games?
Well, I think what our guys do is they play the scheme really, really well. I think from an athletic standpoint, we match up across the board. I really like our matchups in the secondary, especially. I mean, they got some talented guys. So, we got 5 guys back there that I believe can cover anybody in the nation. Up front, our defensive line is very, very, very good. We got a couple older guys on there that really know what it takes to win. Some young edge guys who are learning how to figure it out and get after the quarterback. And then our linebacking core, which is the brains behind our defense. They really do a great job of just managing the entire game. It's a special group, and I'm really excited to watch them go out and perform tomorrow.
It's been a long time since the Bears have had a home playoff game. And so this is a big thing, but history, most of this group doesn't care about history. They just care about, wanting to win and get a victory in the playoffs. What do you think you learned from last week? It was a pretty big game. It was as close as you can get to a playoff game without being eliminated, right? Like obviously home field advantage was on the line, but luckily the loser still gets to play. What did you feel you learned from your team, or what did the team learn about themselves last weekend?
Well, I can speak from the defensive side of the ball. Our performance last week was pretty much twice as good as it was when we went out there and took a beating the first time. I think we gave up 54 points the first time, cut that down to 23. We cut their rushing yards in half, their passing yards in half. So we did an admirable job of improving on what we weren't doing well the first time we met. So I think we get through tomorrow. We get to go out there and see them again. I think you'll see a much, much more improved defense and offense and special teams as a whole.
You mentioned your cover guys that you have a lot of faith in, AJ. If you look at the scheme in Saskatchewan, obviously a lot of the games are won and lost in the trenches, your D-line and your O-line on either side of the ball. If you can win those battles, usually, increases your chances of winning as long as you take control, you don't have too many turnovers. But when you look at Saskatchewan, are you expecting them to just run at you? How do you feel they're going to try to attack you defensively?
Well, I think they're going to definitely try to establish their run game. I think that's something that, especially when you get to this time of year, even though the weather should be decent, it's something that teams prepare to increase their running game just because weather, changes, by the minute up here. And you got to be able to establish that run game to be successful. I think they have a young quarterback. He's thrown a ton of interceptions this year. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns as well, but I'm not too sure that coaches are going to feel very comfortable with a young quarterback putting the ball in the air, 30, 40 times a game in pressure situation games like this, where he has thrown a ton of interceptions throughout the season. So they got a couple of really good backs. I think when you have an offensive lineman as a head coach, you're probably going to want to lean on the run a little bit more when it counts. So we're prepared, we're excited, and we can't wait to get after it.
When you have a quarterback who's prone to throwing interceptions, AJ, can you bait him more as a defensive coordinator? Can you run certain looks, kind of think that he's going to see something that isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about that is you never want to put out so many looks that it makes your coverage vulnerable. So it's a very fine line that you got to walk in your disguise compared to what you really want to run. So if you try to get too cute, you might give up a big play. So we're not really going to come out and do anything so fancy that's going to put us at a disadvantage. I think we're going to come out, pressure him early, try to get him rattled, and then just let our cover guys, run around and make plays.
How has it been for you? You've coached in the CFL. What's the difference coaching in U Sports for you?
You know what? There's really not that much difference other than, the mistakes that are made at this level are usually only made once up in the CFL.
Okay.
Here it takes a few times for guys to learn, but, keeping contained is keeping contained, and it happens, it happens down here, it happens up there, it happens in the NFL, it happens in high school. So a lot of times it's just the amount of times that you have to repeat something before the guys learn. But we're fortunate. Our guys are pretty smart. It doesn't take them more than one or two times to understand a concept and understand where they need to be in order to not make those mistakes.
AJ Gaas joins us. So AJ, when you mentioned that, sometimes it takes a little bit more, is it fair to say then as a coach, you have to have more patience at this level?
No, 100%, 100% more patience. Because what you're really doing is you are really teaching these guys how to play football. Sometimes they come from smaller programs, maybe 6 or 9-man football programs where some of the nuances of the 12-man game aren't in their repertoire yet, So you got to be very patient with teaching them, understanding that there is an expectation to produce when you're out there, but also know that these guys don't have a ton of experience like they do up in the CFL.
And you are, what made you very successful as a player? Obviously, you were super smart, but you brought a lot of emotion to the game. It's a playoff game. How fired up do you get as a coach? And is it harder to control your emotions as a coach? Because as a player, you could go out and smack someone around and kind of release some of that energy. How do you do it as a coach?
Well, you for me personally, I like to stay really positive. So all of my energy goes into keeping the guys up, keeping them not focused on a mistake that was made, trying to continue to have them move forward with each and every series. So my energy and my emotion really isn't the result of the play. It's just getting them to move on to the next play with as much confidence as we possibly can have them play with.
So one last one for you, AJ, tweaks my interest here. So as a coach, do you do a lot of your coaching mistakes then in film room leading up, and then on game day, it's just about being positive? Because there's too much going on in a game to have a guy all of a sudden try to think about the last mistake. Is that?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. We make our corrections in the film room. My biggest thing is when during a game, the defensive players, they're already facing a team. They're already facing an opponent. They got 12 guys that they got to worry about on the field. If they have to come to the sideline and worry about a 13th opponent being an upset coach or a coach that's freaking out because of a mistake, that doesn't do anybody any good. So, I'm really big on moving on to the next play, turning the page. We'll fix things in meetings, but let's just worry about getting better on each and every play during the game, and not so much, dropping the hammer at every single mistake.
AJ, enjoy tomorrow afternoon. It should be a heck of a game. Should be a great crowd tomorrow. Look forward to it. Best of luck.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. That is AJ Gaas. Like what I said, hey, man, the guy either kind of has a dog in him or they don't, right? And now you can try to enhance it and bring it out. But, the reason I asked that to a coach, because a few texters had asked, hey, what do you think the coach can do about getting that commitment and willingness? Well, it's got to come from within, man. Think about being a parent, right? Like you can encourage your son or daughter to study, right? But you can't write the exam for them. You can't. Like you can, maybe they get a little nervous on writing test day, so you try to help out. You do all these things, but at the end of the day, it's up to them. And coaches can do stuff. Well, once the game starts, no coach in his right mind is ever coaching the players to leave a guy wide open in front. They're never, hey, just stand beside him. Don't put a stick on him. They're never coaching that. The coaches say, hey, this is what we'd like you to do in this situation. Right now, good coaches can maybe find different ways to tap into different players, sure, to a point. Or they recognize what their skill set of their team is, and they devise a system that works to that team and then makes them successful. But at the same time, you can't just say, well, we're going to play river hockey because that's what we have as a team. No. Heck, the Oilers are the highest scoring team ever in the NHL. And come playoff time, they played better defensive hockey. You don't have to look any further than that. Like there's so many, the Oilers need bottom six. They need, no. They need to stop gifting easy goals, making glaring defensive errors. The only reason you want more goals from your bottom six is so you can outscore the mistakes. How about eliminate the mistakes? And of course, you want to get some production from your bottom six, but start with the bigger problem. Because bottom six scoring wasn't the issue last year for Edmonton. You know what was? Goals against. You know what's the issue again this year? Goals against. From way too many easy goals against. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by BIE Engineering, specializing in all your residential, commercial, and industrial structural engineering needs. Go to BIEENG.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers defenseman Philip Broberg has been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors in 8 games this season. Broberg has recorded 0 points and is a -1. The Oilers return to action tomorrow, taking on the Preds. Puck drop 1 o'clock. On the ice tonight, Flyers hit the Buffalo, and the Blues hosting the Devils. The NBA's in-season tournament gets going tonight. You got the Cavaliers taking on the Pacers. Bucks host the Knicks. Wizards take on the Heat. Bulls welcome the Nets to town. The Thunder take on the Warriors. Mavs in Denver. CFL playoffs will get going tomorrow as the Tiger Cats are in Montreal at 1, and the Lions will host the Stampeders. That's starting at 4:30. The Oil Kings in action, hosting the Moose Jaw Warriors this evening. Puck drop 7 o'clock down at Rogers Place. We've got 5 games in the AJ tonight, including the Spruce Grove Saints in Drumheller and the Sherwood Park Crusaders traveling to Brooks. Both those games will get going at 7. It's a busy weekend for the U of A, taking on the Saskatchewan Huskies in multiple sports. Of course, the football team hosting the Huskies down at Footfield playoff action. That one's starting at 5 o'clock. The Golden Bears, they'll take on the Huskies tonight and tomorrow down at the Drake. Both games at 7. The Pandas on the flip side in Saskatchewan taking on the Huskies at 7 tonight and 5 tomorrow. At the Saville Center, Bears basketball team will take on the Huskies tonight and tomorrow. Pandas doing the same. And for volleyball, you've got the Bears and Pandas taking on Mount Royal. Coming up in hour number 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll keep the Oilers talk going, and we'll be joined by Predators beat reporter Paul Skrbina. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
No project too difficult. No problem too complex for Action Electrical. Edmonton's leading electrical contractor is a family-run business since 1973 and proud to offer complete commercial electrical services of the highest quality. When you need a contractor to design, build, implement, and maintain complex systems or emergency electrical assistance, help is here with the professionals. Book a service call at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me! Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
How do we do it? Well, Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by playalberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models for 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantor.com.
Just after 3 o'clock on a positive Friday. How are you? Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. Nashville is in town. It's an afternoon game tomorrow, so plan ahead. 1 o'clock start. There'll be lots of kids at that game because many of you, the weekday games are a little too late by the time you get home, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Lots of times just it's not worth the hassle for the next few days when the little ones are that grumpy after lacking sleep. So use the afternoon games. Kids like it. There's lots of them. If you're going, I recommend getting down there early because usually, you know what, there's on a regular day, there's a fair amount of people around the glass, but on those afternoon games, man, the kids get down there and they're packed. They're up against the glass. They want to see the players. You know, for lots of the kids, it's their first time or only game of the season. So a lot of little juice in the building. Not sure it'll matter if the Oilers don't want to commit to playing defense. So we'll see. Hey, guys, playing defense is a commitment thing. The talent is there, but the will isn't. Case in point, Bouchard coasting rather than busting his ass. Let's take a tapping away from Hines. These types of plays don't take skill, they take will. Until they decide playing defense is important, the results will always be shoddy from JC the Glazier. Yeah, dude, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. Hey, Greg, you watch a lot more NHL games than most of us. It's easy to put the blinders on as a fan and see every mistake. Do other teams make as many glaring errors? They all seem miles better defensively in their own zone. It's hard for the Oilers to maintain offensive zone pressure, but the other teams have the Oilers scrambling every time they're in the zone. From Nick. Well, Nick, you're right. I do watch a lot of other games. I got the center ice package. I like it, especially watching certain teams. Like I'll say, I've watched Vegas a lot, and here's the thing: Vegas is without their best defenseman. Like when I hear that, Connor McDavid's not 100%, yeah, so what? That's not an excuse to play crappy, weak-minded defense. In fact, it should be the exact opposite. If you know your main guy is not 100%, and maybe your offense as a team is going to struggle because of it, then you should ensure you're more committed defensively. 100%. But they didn't have Alex Pietrangelo. Didn't seem to affect him. They play their structure, but the guys, they know their responsibilities and they do it. I'm a defenseman. I'm defending first. And there's too many on Edmonton who defense first isn't their mindset. And it's not a knock, and I've said this. It's not Evan Bouchard's fault. He's being asked to play a position that I don't think it's in his DNA to be a staunch defensive defender. I don't think it is. So, you know what? Stop asking him to do it. You knew this at the start of the year. If Evan Bouchard's my third pair right defender and my number one power play guy, I'm fine. I have no issue with it. There's lots of guys over the course of hockey that have done that. Great. No problem. Stop asking him to be sound defensively when he's proven he can't be. He can't. Now, would I like him to? Yes. But he's proven he can't to this point in his career. So why keep trying? You know, maybe he'll get it in the future, but he's not now. So go out and get another right shot defenseman who can be top 4. Not that easy to get. I totally understand it. But that's just the facts. Right? And the thing is, he'll do it for a few games. I thought he was excellent against the Rangers. Right? He got demoted to the third pair for a bit and it was like, oh, there's a wake-up call. It worked for a short time and then boom, it went back to the same habits that he had. Last night's a prime example. And trust me, I'm not blaming one player. I'm just using Bouchard as an example because it was an obvious error. Not because there's errors that are made by trying. And I'll live with those all day long. I coach young kids. I always talk about, when we're doing new drills and they're just learning lots of things. I'm like, falling's trying. When kids are falling over them, I'm like, I never get upset at them. I'm like, because you're trying. If Bouchard was in a battle hard, you know what? He's over trying. And guess what? He lost a battle because he was engaged. That's okay. No one wins every battle. No one. Shea Weber's a man-child on blue line. He didn't win every battle. So I'd never be upset about that. But when you're skating back and you just inexplicably float outside the dot towards the boards, why? Why are you doing that? Do you want to get away from the play? Like, to me, that's inexcusable. So to answer your question, Nick, there are few teams that I see that gift goals as easily and as frequently as the Edmonton Oilers. Toronto does at times, and guess what? They haven't had a lot of playoff success. But I don't see a ton of teams. There's teams that just don't have talent, like San Jose, and they have a coach who has like zero system, so that doesn't help. They're like, it's a bad combination. Like I said at the start of the season, the Sharks won't win 20 games this year, which has only ever happened once in the 2000s. And that's when they had ties still. Atlanta had 19 wins. They had 11 ties plus some overtime losses. Remember those ones? Good times. They probably could have won 1 out of 11 shootouts and got another win. So it's hard to not win 20 games, but the Sharks will. And they just don't have enough talent. Edmonton has enough talent. But when you look at, and last night was defensemen, but we've seen forwards do it boatloads of times. Can you name a player this year, and the list is pretty short, who hasn't had, like even Matthias Ekholm, we've seen him. And fine, we've seen it once, right? And that'll happen. If it's once in 8 games, I'll live with it all day long. But when it's happening every second or third game, that's why the Oilers are getting pumped in goals against right now. Yes, you would like your goalie to make the odd extra save, sure. But he has no chance on 3 of their goals last night. No chance. The only one was Duchesne. And think about the one you're like, well, he's got to get a save there. It's a 2-on-1. It's a pretty high danger chance. He's shooting from below the circle. So, yeah, you would like the save, but I don't expect it, if that makes any sense. So, hey, Gregor, remember when Woodcroft's message was that you get your offensive chances out of sound defensive play? Seems like an eternity ago from Danny Boy. Yeah. Well, I'm sure they still talk about it. But again, and that's where the coach only has so many bullets in the chamber. And to me, I'm not benching Leon Draisaitl last night, but I would lean over and have a conversation and say, simplify your game. That's all I would say. Nothing more. For whatever reason, his scope was off last night. Usually that guy can make tons of passes and you're just like, wow. But it wasn't working last night. So that's when you simplify and just say, you know what? Just take it to the net. Take it to the net. Stop trying to pass through guys. Take it to the net. Look for a deflection. Put the puck on the goal. Right? Like sometimes a coach has to say that. And you got to say, dude, do it now. Next game, you know what? Maybe your passing will be back to where it normally is. That's what I would look at. Hey, Gregor, I remember reading your article in the summer when you said, why not just play nurse in the number 1 unit and consider moving Bouchard? I thought it was idiotic. I think you were right. Well, I want to give the premise of that. It wasn't a whole article. I'd written 10 points. And one of my points was, and this was before Bouchard, and, hey, there were some people that ruffled their feathers because I basically wrote, I said, hey, you're paying Darnell Nurse $9.25 million. The Oilers' power play the last 4 years, their goals per 60 was 13 13.5 with Bouchard, 13.3 with Barry, and 13.28 with Nurse. It was virtually the same. Right? It didn't matter. So if you're going to pay him that much money, it gets more points that appease some people freaking out because Bouchard's going to put up a lot of points. There's no doubt in my mind he'll do that. And so now you're going to have to pay him $7 million just because offense gets you money in the NHL. History doesn't lie. It gets you a lot of money. Gets you way more money being sound defensively. And so it was just an idea. I didn't say they should do it. It's an idea I would consider. Because what the Edmonton owners need is they don't need more offense. They have lots of offensive-minded, natural instincts, offensive-type players. They needed more guys who are naturally comfortable playing defense, willing to play defense. That was my premise. So, and I also said, is it a risk? 100%. Right? Like, who knows? Maybe Bouchard in time does become more committed defensively. And when he does with his offense, man, that would make him ultra valuable. But I don't know for sure if it'll ever happen or when it'll happen. So that's why it's something I would consider. That's all. Hey, Gregor, I don't understand the reluctance of Ford to go to the blue paint. At this point, I think Holloway and McLeod would have to be introduced to the crease. Outside the defensive blunders, that's the most frustrating thing for me. From Dean. Dean, I wholeheartedly agree. And I hate sounding like a broken record because the Oilers are a good team, but the things that they lack that I see in other teams are those two glaring ones. Number one, the Oilers would give up too many easy goals. How many easy goals did Vegas give them in that series last year? And Edmonton scored a lot of goals. But how many of them were like easy ones? Edmonton had the skill to score. And then look at how many goals Vegas got. Deflections, point shots through screens. Right now, the Oilers, hey, Vinny Desharnais got a lucky bounce. Great. How many of those do the Oilers get a year? Point shot, CNI point shot that makes its way in. How many? Not many. You want to know why? Because go look and see how many times the Oiler forwards naturally funnel. And here's one thing that I will question the coaching staff on. I very rarely see drills that hammer that in with the players. Right? I don't see many of those. Adam Oates told us on the show, practice how you play. Ryan Smith, the reason he became great at tipping pucks, he did it not once a week, every practice. Every practice. Jarrett Stoll told us on the show. How did he get better at faceoffs? He did faceoffs 3, 4, 5 times a week. Practice. Now, they had Sean Horkoff. They had Adam Oates when he was near the end. Helped him out. But they had guys who were good in the faceoff, so that helped. Going up against Derek Ryan and Leon Draisaitl, you can get better in the faceoff. The Oilers are a pretty good faceoff team. But if you want to get better at going to the net, then incorporate some drills to say, guys, here we go. And you know what? They'll go there, and all of a sudden in practice, they're tipping home a puck. Oh, geez. Maybe I'll see some results in practice. I'll do it. So it's another one I would look at. So, hey, Greg, remember earlier when Campbell stood on his head and proved it's not just the goaltending? What was his reward? Facing 30 shots again from Steve. Well, bingo. Right? Like, think about it. The Oilers, the one win they had, their goalie made 42 saves. The other game they won was where their goalie had a relatively easy game in Stuart Skinner. How many comfortable games do the Oilers goalies get where they're not just pressed into having to stand on their head? Right? That's a team thing. It's a team thing. Hey, guys, Broberg got sent down. Thank goodness for Matt. Well, hey, I look at Broberg, and no offense to him, the limited role that he's playing, like I know last night he had the dump in, so we're talking about it. But for the most part, I haven't really noticed Broberg. He's not the issue. I don't want to get sidetracked. Like, yes, Broberg goes down, and well, he has to go down because the Oilers got to recall a forward. Connor Brown's hurt, but right now, unless the Oilers have, and I don't see anything that is announced that, well, they haven't even announced who they're recalling, which is kind of odd to me. But they have to recall a forward. We know the plan's in motion. And if Connor Brown can't play, but he's not on LTIR, that's why they had to send Broberg down, because they needed a forward. And that means they'll still go 11-6 tomorrow. So they'll play shorthanded for a game. Then they could have an emergency recall of another forward for Monday's game against Vancouver. And then those guys can stay up until Janmark or Brown are deemed healthy enough to play. But Broberg, this will actually be good for him. Get him down to the minors. I said it, right? Like, you play 6 defense, and Broberg can play 20 minutes a night in the minors for 2 or 3 weeks. It's actually going to help him. Way better than playing 7 minutes. Right? But in his minutes, he hasn't done very much. Like, I don't know what he does well. That's my question. Like, if you had to describe, this is what I think Philip Broberg's best foundational piece is, what would it be? Because if you say skating, I'll say yes. But when do we see it? Do we ever see him transport the puck? Ever? No. So you kind of eliminate your best skill by not using it. The one skill the Oilers have is they can beat the Preds. That's who they face tomorrow. We'll find out, what are the Preds going to do different? We'll get Nashville's side of things next on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, live on Oilers Nation YouTube.
It's a triumphant return to the airwaves. Hi, I'm Colin from Cantork, and this is a great call. Cantork proudly continues our partnership with Jason Gregor, eagerly rejoining his team on Sports 1440.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
At Wolf GMC Buick, all Denali's are on sale. Terrain, Acadia, Sierra, Yukon, all Denali's are on sale. Get special 0% financing for 48 months on all remaining Sierra Denali half-tons, because all Denali's are on sale. I'm not kidding. Every in-stock 2023 GMC Denali is on sale. All Denali's are on sale. Hurry into Wolf GMC Buick for the best selection. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy, because all Denali's are on sale.
With sport and group events returning, are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round, and you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football, and head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strnd.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Now, if I lift this up and then hit it right here...
No, it's hit, then lift.
What are you guys doing? We can't get this thing to work.
For guaranteed same-day service, call Franco Sorgiovanni at Corporate Business Solutions before someone makes it even worse. Most issues can be resolved within 20 minutes or less. Corporate Business Solutions is an authorized Konica Minolta office equipment dealer for sales and service. Call CBS today at 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Every Albertan wants a strong and secure retirement. We all want to make the most of it. That's why Alberta's government is exploring a new possibility, an Alberta pension plan. You might be wondering what's in it for you. The new plan could mean higher benefits for seniors and bigger paychecks for workers. As we explore this opportunity together, Alberta's government wants to hear from you. It's your pension, your choice. Learn more and have your say at albertapensionplan.ca. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Are you winter ready? Don't put off those repairs or maintenance to your trucks or trailers while the cold weather sets in. Call Murray's Truck Parts Locators. Get your trucks in now to make sure you don't end up stranded. From alignments to inspections and engine overhauls, Murray does it all. He can even source parts when you need them and cut down on wait times.
Call Murray's Truck Parts, 780-678-2128.
Murray's Truck Parts Locators, just minutes west of Camrose.
Portions of this hour are brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition Blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Hey, it's Positive Friday. I'm going to give you a half an hour to, actually maybe just 20 minutes. Make some plans. And then I'll tell you how you can grab this. We actually have a suite to give away for the Oil Kings game tonight. I like it. So that's great. So make some calls. It'll be for 12 of you. Comes with a parking pass. All right. So I don't want to say yes because then people are, oh, sorry, I couldn't get people. So that's why we're not giving away now. So you think about it. Make some calls. Make sure you can do it. And then we'll give that away coming up in about 20 minutes time. There you go. In the meantime, let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And you got a final few days left. Lots of great prizes still to be won in Monopoly at McDonald's. More chances than ever to win. You can go in store. Maybe you take it to go in the drive-thru. You get your Big Mac, your cheeseburger, your pop, and you can peel it right there. Or just get it on the app, peel right there, and you can win. Very, very easy. Check it out at mcdpromotion.ca. The Edmonton Oilers, who are struggling with any sort of consistency right now. I guess the only saving grace is their next opponent is the one opponent that they seem to beat rather handily. Since the start of the 2018-19 season, the Oilers are 10-1-2 in their last 13 games against the Nashville Predators. Everybody knows that Leon Draisaitl loves nothing more than beating them. The Oilers are actually 10-1-1 in their last 12, make it even better against the Preds, but there's no guarantees. And if the Oilers are going to gift them goals, then they might have a chance. But we'll find out. What are the Preds? Is there anything they can do different? As Paul Skrbina joins us, a beat reporter for the Nashville Predators, writes at the Tennessean. And Paul, it's an odd thing. Edmonton can't beat Minnesota, but they beat Nashville for fun, even with one of the best goalies in the NHL in Pekka Rinne. What do you think the Preds can do differently? Obviously, they've yet to find a way to shut down Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, but the level that they've scored on them is much higher than anybody else. So what do you think the Preds are going to try to do different tomorrow afternoon?
I hope that Leon Draisaitl doesn't keep acting like he's been acting for the last couple of years. I don't know. It's so hard to, they did it to Pekka, and they're doing it to UC Saros, who's also one of the best goalies in the league, and it's pretty incredible to watch. I think before that, if I'm not mistaken, the Predators have beaten the Oilers like 15 times in a row or something. So I don't know what's going on in this matchup, but it seems to be really, really streaky, whichever way it's going.
Yeah, 100%. So you look at the Preds and they're kind of, I think it's fair to say they're retooling. I don't know if they're in a full-on rebuild yet. They've got some young players that they like, but how do you feel the season's gone so far for the Preds? They're 4-6. Obviously, it hasn't gone great, but is that kind of the expectation? Do you think like was Ekholm the first sign for you that maybe they are actually going to go full rebuild? And if they do, would they consider trading UC Saros?
Well, here's the thing: is I don't think the Predators are never going to rebuild, but not a full rebuild. And I say that because Nashville is a great hockey city, but I can't see the Predators being Chicago Blackhawks bad for 5 seasons and people having the patience around here to stomach that. And but there has been a lot of drastic changes that were probably, quite frankly, a couple of years overdue, with a new general manager and a new coach, and getting rid of some of the the Matt Duchenes and Ryan Johanssons of the world. And I don't think if you're rebuilding, you don't bring in a Ryan O'Reilly or Luke Shen or and you do trade a UC Saros or a Skarov or you start collecting assets for the future. And I think Barry Trotz has done that. I think it's a tough balancing act. But as far as how their season's going, I mean, I think if you ask them realistically, like they're probably not unhappy with where they are. I mean, they don't love their record, but they really, for the most part, they've not been out of games.
Yeah.
It's the special teams have cost them. There's things that the problems are identifiable, and they're not so many that you can't fix them. So this team has a chance to make the playoffs, believe it or not. With a goalie like that, and with a player like who's like Forsberg and Roman Josi, like and Ryan O'Reilly, when you got those guys, like you always have a chance. So yeah, it's an interesting team because I think you're right. They're in transition, and it's interesting to see how differently Barry Trotz does things than David Poile did things. Because David was the only general manager that the Predators ever had, and Barry's coming in like a wrecking ball a little bit.
Yeah, well, obviously you want to put your own kind of stamp on things and make a few changes. Last year they had some young guys play quite well at the end of the season, and a few of those guys have stepped up again this year. They lack outside of Forsberg like those real high offensive guys, right? Is that like the glaring thing?
They've never had a player that other teams. They've never had an offensive player that other teams were scared of, like that would cause opposing coaches to lose sleep. Forsberg, he's the guy to me who has the potential or the capability of being that superstar, but he's just not. He's just a tier below that. He doesn't strike fear into opponents, but he certainly can embarrass you on a given night. And so I think that that they've never had that, and I think Barry really wants it. Barry tried really, really hard to trade up to get in the top 3 or 4 because this year's draft was very top heavy. He tried really hard, and UC Saros' name, I know for a fact, was brought, was on the table, and the Skarov was on the table, and I think the draft was so top heavy that teams just weren't willing to, the cost was not worth the reward. They would rather take the chance with the draft pick. So, but he definitely was out there hustling and trying to do that.
Looking at the Preds, I don't know how because it's funny. You talk about all their games are close. Like they lost to the Oilers by 5, but they had 42 shots, right? Jack Campbell, that was, I played quite well in that game. So even though they lost, it's like, well, here we go again. It was the Draisaitl show against them. And I do wonder, how much of that's mental right now. Like I've never seen a player dominate one team like this.
It's one of those things I can't explain it, but I think when you guys being in Edmonton, and I don't know if it's taken for granted there, but you guys have probably arguably the 2 best hockey players that are walking the face of the earth right now, and so you kind of expect it, but do you expect it to be this extreme? Probably not.
No.
I always look forward to when they play teams like Edmonton, because I don't get to watch that on a nightly basis, and it's just as a fan of the sport, it's really special to watch. And I kind of like when he lights them up because I love watching those guys at their best. Like you don't get to see that very often, so I don't think there's an explanation for it. But I do think I think the Predators aren't the only team that Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid have that effect on. They just get more results against the Predators.
Paul Skrbina joins us. Paul, Tommy Novak, a little bit of a late developer. He came in last year, played excellent, and people are like, well, can he do it again? Well, here he is. He's got 5 goals through 10 games. tied with Colton Sissons for the team lead in goals. Kind of give me the backstory on Tommy Novak. And like, this is he's got to become like a fan favorite in Nashville because he kind of came out of nowhere that anybody expected him to be like this.
You're absolutely right. And I think he was a guy who kind of got lost in the AHL shuffle. And you're right. I think he's 28, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's just a little bit of I don't even know if it's a late bloomer. I think he's a late opportunist. I don't think he's ever really gotten the chance at the NHL level to play that much and really show what he can do because, he just wasn't a name brand. And I love, he's my, one of my favorite guys to watch. And I love those guys, but you said something that really speaks to the Predators' problem, not just this year, but historically, is if Colton Sissons and Tommy Novak are your leading scorers, then that's probably a problem.
That's fair. Yeah.
And so but Tommy's a great story. And it was funny. I was doing another radio show and they asked me if I was surprised about Tommy Novak. And I said, did you watch the second half of last year? Because I'm not surprised at all that he's doing this year. But he's one of those guys that has stuck around and now that he has the chance to do it, to prove himself, he's proven himself. And I think it's really nothing more or less than that. But they need guys like that, to have any success. But yeah, he's the blue collar, looks like a plumber. You never mistake him for a hockey player guy, and just goes out there and holds his own. So, that I think that line that he plays on too, with Evangelista and those guys, they really work well together. And you're right. But last year I was surprised. I didn't know. I never heard of Tommy Novak before last year, to be quite honest with you, or not much about him. So yeah, he's been a pleasant surprise, you could say.
Nashville starts the road trip. They get the loss in Seattle on Thursday. Will it be Saros for sure tomorrow night in goal, or tomorrow afternoon? Excuse me.
My guess would be yes.
Okay.
It's interesting because UC has played the most minutes out of any goalie for the last 2 seasons, and every year they say we're going to really watch his minutes, and then they, I guess you're going to watch him go up. I don't know. My guess would be probably UC because I think on this long road trip, I think Kevin Langton will get a start. And Langton is a very capable backup, but when you rely so much on your goalie, I guess it's really hard. It's easy for a coach to say those things, but it's really hard for him to do those things. Giving him his rest and whatnot.
Yeah, you're right. It's very easy to say, hey, we're going to play our best goalie fewer games. Then you get into the season, you're like, gosh, we got to win tonight. Well, who gives me the best chance to win? UC Saros. So then you play him more. That's why I was curious about, if the Preds, and you mentioned that maybe they'll never go into a rebuild. So then they would probably look at re-signing UC Saros starting next summer.
That would be, I think that's already in the works. Because here's the thing: if they were going to trade him, he had, going into the season, he had 2 years at $5 million per, which is basically playing for free. I know it sounds absurd, but I mean his contract is very team friendly, and they could have gotten a haul for him. You wait until after the season or even the middle of the season. Now that believe it or not, he keeps getting better, but his trade value really is going down because you really want him for the years in the term, because when that expires, you're going to pay him. I think the Predators are positioning themselves to do just that. I'd be interested to see what they're going to do with the Skarov, and if it's going to be a Pekka UC situation where they're going to be a mentor-mentee couple-year transition kind of a thing, or if they are going to trade a Skarov. It'll be interesting to find out.
It will be. And as always, man, we appreciate your time. Paul, enjoy the game tomorrow afternoon. Thanks for this.
All right, thank you. No problem.
That's Paul Skrbina joining us from Nashville. So the Preds, you know what? They don't, as he said, they got nobody that you're fearful of individually. But, hey, the Preds, they work hard. The Oilers beat them 6-1, but they also gave up 43 shots. And, yes, the Oilers have dominated 10-1-1 in their last 12. But if the Oilers are going to gift goals again tomorrow, like they did against Dallas, it's going to be a hard game to win. They make life way too difficult for themselves. So we'll see. When And it's not one game. I got fooled in the Calgary game. I'm not getting fooled. Give me multiple games in a row where the Oilers aren't consistently gifting goals, and then I might believe that this team is ready to turn the corner. Until that point, it's going to be a slog. They talk about getting through the muck and all this. Oh, we know we're a good team. Well, you say you're a good team, but are you a committed team? That's the question. Are you committed to playing down defense? Because actions suggest they're not. I don't think anyone can argue that. Text line is humming 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. When we come back, a suite for 12 tonight to the Oil Kings game. We'll have a little fun with that to give it away. Somebody wants to go. Make sure that you can use it. Don't just call in if you can't use it, okay? We'll have a little fun trivia. 833-401-1440. If you can use 12 seats in a suite tonight for the Oil Kings Moose Jaw Warriors game. We'll give that away next on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Our cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Join the conversation on men's health and agriculture. November 16th, AFSC and Do More Ag present Bro Talk, Breaking the Silence. Listen to the real-life stories of men who have faced mental health challenges and discover practical tips and tools to navigate this journey. Connect with others, explore personal experiences, and support one another. Session takes place on Zoom November 16th from 12 to 1 p.m. Register online for this virtual session at afsc.ca. Bro Talk, November 16th. We'll watch out for each other together.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter, so you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll, without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Roger Weir and his team at Weir, Pearson, Akel and Associates Private Wealth Management, helping business owners and professionals build, protect, and enjoy their wealth. Earn more now and call Roger and his team at 988-4119.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.348 on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Welcome back. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Coming to you live from the eWell studio. That is EWEL.ca. Proudly sponsored by your local electrical distributor. Stay tuned for an electrifying show that will light up your day. That is EWEL.ca. Now, tonight, I want to go to the Oil Kings game in a suite with some parking passes. Pretty sweet deal. We'll play a little trivia right now. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. Where are we going first, Cons?
We will start off with Chris.
Chris, good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, Gregor, pretty good. You had me at parking passes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, who doesn't like those? Park underneath. I love it. All right, Chris, the Oil Kings. Now, we're talking this edition of the Oil Kings. Not the in the 60s. This edition of the Oil Kings has had 7 first-round selections in the NHL entry draft. Can you name 5 of them?
Ooh, Pysyk, Reinhart, Lazar. I don't think. Oh, Brossoit. Is he a first-rounder?
He is not a first-rounder. Thanks for playing. 833-401-1440. Montana, can you name 5 of the 7 Oil Kings who were drafted in the first round of the NHL entry draft?
Mark Pysyk.
Yep.
Griffin Reinhart.
Mm-hmm.
Henrik Samuelsson.
That's 3.
Curtis Lazar.
Yeah.
And Dylan Gunther.
There you go. Bingo. Nailed it. Also, Jake Neighbors and Sebastian Cossa, the goaltender, to go. So, Montana, you are going to the game. I'm assuming you can go tonight. You can use the tickets in the suite?
Yeah, we're going to ask the kids hockey team players to come along. So,
well, there you go. You will have 12. Well, stay on the line, Montana, and Connor will get all your information. We'll be sending you the tickets and the parking passes to go tonight.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Montana killed it. Yes, Gunther, of course, 9th overall in 2021. Cossa went 15th in the same draft. Neighbors was 26th in 2020. Curtis Lazar went 17th in 2013. Griffin Reinhart went 4th in 2012. Henrik Samuelsson went 27th in the same year. And Mark Pysyk was the first Oil Kings to go in the first round when he went 23rd to the Sabres in 2010. So they've had a few second rounders: Robertson, Pollock, Tristan Jarry, Mitch Moraz. Third rounders: Lowe and Iwanek, Latimer and St. Croix were 4th rounders. So there you go. Laurent Brossoit was a 6th round selection. And out of the Oil Kings, Pysyk has played the most games so far, 521. Lazar's at 461. And Tristan Jarry, the goalie, is at 213. So there you go. I'm very curious to kind of see the development of Sebastian Cossa over the next few seasons and what he's going to do in the Detroit Red Wings organization. So see where it goes. Hey, Gregor, don't worry. The team will suck the want to win out of Gagner and stomp on it soon enough. King of Fort Nasty. Hey, Sam Gagner did bring a lot of, that was the positive story last night. I'm telling you, because the building was pretty quiet. The Oilers fans were glum and upset, and I totally understand why. And then out at Sam Gagner scores one. Just, you know what? Just hammer it home. Gets a goal. Crowd goes nuts. His reaction. Then a few shifts later, scores again. And, the Oilers had all the momentum, but hey, a 3-goal deficit in the third period is hard to overcome. Even when you start playing well, it's difficult to do. And you just look at what was eventually the winning goal in that game last night. It's the prime example of what still ails this Oiler team. A 3-on-3 that should not have remotely resulted in a dangerous play results in an easy tap-in goal for Rupe Hintz, who, by the way, is a hell of a player, by the way. Like, hell of a player. But you watch the rebound of that goal, and, man, I wish Sean Brown was here today because, he'd probably be losing his mind. Struddy, the defenders are probably just going nuts. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that is a very simple play that you're taught. You always want to protect the middle of the ice. What have you taught for? Hey, if you're going to lose, let the guy beat you wide, because then at least you have a little bit of a chance to maybe cut him off going to the net, right? You don't go outside and let the guys just go straight to the net down the pipe, which is exactly what happened on that play. It was, as I was watching, I was like, what? Where did he go? What happened? I don't get it. So we'll see where it goes. Coming up in the final few hours of the show. Well, we do have some more texts to get to, though, at 833-401-1440. Wanye Gretz will be by. We'll hear from Spec, Craig Button. Those two guys are going to be fired up. We also have Help Your Neighbor. It's Positive Friday. And what I love is we get some emails and texts from people that have said, hey, you know what? I found someone who I think could really use a furnace. Well, hopefully you can qualify then. Hopefully you get in today. It'll be great. We like it because, that's what we want. The whole point of this contest is you're going to feel great about yourself. We're going to give somebody a life-changing opportunity here to get a brand new furnace. For somebody like a $7,000 brand new furnace, man, that is a huge stress relief for someone, especially because I know lots of us are, finances are a little bit tighter now than they have been previous years. So that could be a huge gift. So you get a little gift for yourself. You get some order tickets. You get the Ecobee Smart System thermostat, but you're going to gift it to somebody who doesn't live with you. That's the only rule. So Wanye Gretz got Lowetide will be by as well. Lots more text line in 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, I haven't talked about another thing that's cost the Oilers and entering the season. I thought it'd be the least of my worries, but the power play, where has it gone from Frank? Frank, it's very interesting because I asked that exact question last night. Jay Woodcroft had spoke about how it's not always like, obviously you want your power play to score, but if your power play scores 2 goals when it's 5-2 and it makes it 6 and 7-2, well, that's great for your percentage. And it's always nice to score. But when it's a 1-1 game or a 0-0 game and you get a power play and it gets you a lead, well, that's infinitely more valuable. And last night, Oilers were down multiple times, 2-1, 1-0. When they got power plays, couldn't score. And then Dallas gets one, boom, scored right away. A little bit lucky, sure, but still, they scored. And ultimately, that ends up Edmonton scores 3 goals, 5-on-5. Dallas scores 3 goals, 5-on-5. Dallas, who came into the game with an 8.7% power play, scores a power play goal, and the Oilers don't. It's been that type of year for Edmonton. And you know what? Now, unlucky. I know Bouchard ran, he hit the post twice on the same power play. And some would believe that when things are going well, that is posting in, not posting out, and maybe it is. But it's not posting out if it's on the outside of the post, right? Like it hits the post, but it's not close to being in. Like it's sometimes when you see one where it hits the inside of the post and then goes straight across the net rather than in the net, sure. But when you hit the outside of the post, like it's really not that close. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Head to fountaintire.com right now where you can check out their winter tire lineup and brand offerings. Remember, 7 degrees for 7 days. That's when you get your tires. We had a little bit of stress with the snow the first time. Don't wait. Plan ahead. Book yours at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers defenseman Philip Broberg has been loaned to the Bakersfield Condors in 8 games this season. Broberg has recorded 0 points and is a -1. The Oilers return to action tomorrow when they'll take on the Nashville Predators. Puck drop at 1 o'clock on the ice tonight. Just 2 games. Flyers head to Buffalo and the Blues hosting the Devils. The NBA's in-season tournament gets going tonight. Cavs take on the Pacers. The Bucks will host the Knicks. Heat take on the Wiz. The Nets travel to Chicago. Thunder host the Warriors. Nuggets take on the Mavs. And the Grizz up against the Trailblazers. CFL playoffs will get going tomorrow. The Tiger Cats in Montreal at 1, and then at 4:30, the Lions will host the Calgary Stampeders. The Oil Kings in action, hosting Moose Jaw tonight. Puck drop 7 o'clock down at the Ice District. In the AJ, 5 games on the schedule. The Spruce Grove Saints in Drumheller, while Sherwood Park will travel to Brooks. Both those games get going at 7. It's a busy weekend for the University of Alberta, taking on the Saskatchewan Huskies in multiple sports. The football team hosts the Huskies tomorrow at 5 down at Foot Field in Can West playoff action. You've also got the Golden Bears taking on the Huskies down at the Drake. Saucon men's hockey. Both those games 7 o'clock tonight. And tomorrow the Pandas in Saskatchewan taking on the Huskies at 7 and 5. At the Saville Center, the Bears hosting the Huskies tonight and tomorrow. Pandas in action as well. Of course, taking on the Huskies. And for volleyball, the Bears and Pandas in taking on Mount Royal. Those will go tonight and tomorrow. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host Wanye Gretz of Oilers Nation and Alan Mitchell from the Lowdown with Lowetide plus another edition of 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice? Then choose eWell. Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time.
Plus winning quality. They only stock the best.
And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers.
So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit eWell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
5-time Alberta Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints are celebrating their 20th season in Spruce Grove. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best Junior A hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $9 to $15 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sprucegrovesaints.ca.
Are you ready? If you're a member of Vision Credit Union, it's time to get your share of the profits. Join us at your local branch today for Member Appreciation Day. We'll be returning millions in profit shares to our members via account deposit or check. If you're a Vision member, get ready to enjoy your annual cash payout. Not a member? Find out how to get your share of the profits with Vision Credit Union. Learn more at visioncu.ca.
Drive into fall with some sweet savings at Cross Mitsubishi. Right now, get the best rate in the country. 1.99% on select Mitsubishis. And to make things even better, get up to $1,800 in free accessories or no payments for 6 months, and Cross will take care of your first 3 payments. Plus, get a trade-in bonus for $2,000 and free winter tires on all new Mitsubishis. Find these great deals and so many more at Cross Mitsubishi, 34th Avenue and 96th Street, or cross with a K, Mitsubishi.ca.
Your old furnace can die in the blink of an eye, so why take that chance this winter? Eric Mikowski here, head of the family at Furnace Family. The time for a new furnace is now. Not only will you have peace of mind on those cold winter nights, you will save money on those super expensive gas bills. Unsure? Furnace Family can come check your furnace, and if you buy a new one from us, the check is free. Daikin has an industry-leading lifetime warranty on their heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. Visit furnacefamily.com. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night, furnacefamily.com.
Are you winter ready? Don't put off those repairs or maintenance to your trucks or trailers while the cold weather sets in. Call Murray's Truck Parts Locators. Get your trucks in now to make sure you don't end up stranded. From alignments to inspections and engine overhauls, Murray does it all. He can even source parts when you need them and cut down on wait times.
Call Murray's Truck Parts, 780-678-2128.
Murray's Truck Parts Locators, just minutes west of Camrose.
Every Albertan wants a strong and secure retirement. We all want to make the most of it. That's why Alberta's government is exploring a new possibility, an Alberta pension plan. You might be wondering what's in it for you. The new plan could mean higher benefits for seniors and bigger paychecks for workers. As we explore this opportunity together, Alberta's government wants to hear from you. It's your pension, your choice. Learn more and have your say at albertapensionplan.ca. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolling through on Sports 1440. And hey, it's a challenge for Oilers fans to be positive today. Other than one thing you're positive about is that the Oilers have yet to figure out how to consistently bring a willingness and a desire to play sound defensively. Honestly, mentioning third and fourth line players, you're missing the point. Their depth scores produced very well last year. Did it help them limit their goals against? No. Not by any big matter. All it did was allow them to outscore their mistakes. And that can't be their approach. That's not how you win. If the goal is to win. Now, if the goal is to just entertain and score lots of goals, awesome. And I love goals, don't get me wrong. There are teams that do both. You can score and not gift goals. If you give up goals, that's fine. But gifting goals, very different. And Santa Claus, I love that portly fellow, right? Still one of the greatest days of my life was waking up to Santa Claus when I had a GT snow racer under the tree. I love him. But guess what? He's meant to give kids gifts. He's not meant to be an NHL player impersonating him or a team on a bi-weekly, bi-nightly basis that the Oilers do. They're not supposed to give easy goals. Think about last night. Look at the goals. First goal, didn't need to happen. The fourth goal, are you joking? Even the second goal. That's a dump in, like, come on. You're an NHL player. You can't make that play. 3-on-1. Back of your net. So it's not good times for Oilers fans. It is a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And you know what? If you need to think positive, hey, trust me, go to PlayAlberta.ca. $13 million up for grabs in Lotto Max tonight. Feeling a little lucky. Get in on it. Or you know what? Maybe look some odds. I'll say this. Anytime San Jose plays, I would probably be picking the other team right now. Pretty good. Pretty good odds to do that. Let's welcome into the show our regular Friday co-host from Oilers Nation. Wanye Gretz joins us.
Has anybody brought up Sam Gagner yet today? Has anybody thought to mention the silver lining? You did bring him up, the two goals, the whole,
well, of course,
the amazing Rudy-esque story of returning to the NHL that wasn't ignored.
No, we talked about it and then wondered why he wasn't on the ice in the final minute and a half.
Well, there was that. Goal. You don't want to tire him out in his first game. He scored more than the bottom six. He's only got no working hips.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, they're working now.
What an amazing story, though.
Yeah, you know what? It is one that Oiler fans I don't know. I shouldn't say Oiler fans. Human beings love those type of stories. You know what? Sam Gagner is a player who actually has been a very good draft pick. If you look at his draft class, he's been an exceptional pick. He was a 6th overall pick. He's top 10 in games played. He's top 10 in goals. He's top 10 in assists. He's top 10 in points. Like, that's a really good pick. He's lived up to it. Now, because he's not a superstar is irrelevant. He was drafted in his draft class against all his peers and is being top 10. So it's a very good pick. You know what? He marries, he's an Edmonton Oiler. He marries a local girl who's a doctor, right? They have a loving family,
marries up.
Right? They have, we'll get into that in a second. But, you know what? It's his 3rd time in Edmonton. They spend lots of time here. They like the community. They've done lots in the community. So I get why people, it's an easy person to root for as an Oiler fan. And because when you see Sam Gagner, he's not overly big, right? Like, you remember as an 18-year-old rookie, he fought Ryan Kessler. I still remember hosting my show at that. And Oiler fans, like, the instant love affair for Sam Gagner because they hated Kessler, rightfully so. Like, if you had him on your team, you'd love him, but you hated to play against him. And here's 18-year-old Sam Gagner, who at the time, like, I can't remember who that might have been Chris Cuthbert or whoever the play-by-play guy was. And he's just like, I didn't know Sam Gagner had it in him, right? And here he is chucking knuckles. Not that Kessler was super tough, but he was a bigger dude. And, then a few years later, he has the 8-point night during the decade of darkness. And, that 8-point game gave him, like, that was 3 months of a fan's worth of excitement in one night.
And to have him come back and then just immediately produce. We had him on our show, Real Life, when he came back, I guess, before training camp on the PTO. And we asked him, like, are you super excited to be back in Edmonton and blah, blah, blah. And he said, what I'm excited for is to not have shearing pain in both my hips.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we don't take that into full account. Like, for Sam Gagner to have been in the AHL 5 days ago and will himself back into the league and score a goal in his first game, that's incredible. That's an incredible willpower just to overcome double hip replacement. Like, what on earth?
Well, it's not hip replacement.
Well, what is
he had torn labrums, right? So he had torn tissue, and so they can repair it. It's just
significant surgery in the off season. We watched him on his Instagram going through his therapy in the pools and stuff, right?
Yeah, no, it was very good. Like, he talked about how like when he opted to have the surgery is because it got into a point where the prior summer when he was training, he had to limit this training because of pain. And then when you're staying after practice, you can't because there's pain, right? And that's where guys, we talked about Ryan Smith earlier, and that's how you hone your skills. You continue. You don't become great at tipping by doing it for 1 year and then stopping, right? And so, we were talking about the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, like, I don't see enough drills. Like, to me, when you're this bad, there's nobody that you can't look at and say they have to do better. Individual players, the power play, the defensive coach, the power play coach, the head coach, the GM, everybody has to look and say, okay, why is this not working? Right. And so simple things. I'm like, I don't see the Oilers. What is some things they don't do? They don't go to the net constantly. Right. How many point shots? Now, we did see for one game, Vinny Desharnais, great. But how often does that happen? Right. Like last night, Sam Gagner comes up and he hammers home a rebound. Great. You don't see a ton of it. Zach Hyman, sure. But not continually, not compared to other teams. Like, look at how many goals have beaten Stuart Skinner from point shots where there's two men in front and he's screening, can't see the puck. How many of those do the Oilers score? That's my point. But if you never practice it and you don't have funnel drills to the net, oh, what are we doing? We're going to the net again. Then the player's like, oh, I guess this is how I go to the net. So if all your practice drills are outside, stop battling cycle drills, but never funneling to the net, well, then I'm not surprised they never funnel to the net. Right. So that's one element of it. I'm not blaming the coach and everything because to me, The coach doesn't consistently make the dumb decisions that the Oilers do. Ill-advised, low percentage decisions that result in easy goals. So the whole thing we talked about is it's a willingness. Sam Gagner willed himself back to the NHL. The Edmonton Oilers, will yourself stop talking and actually do it that you want to play consistent defensively. Because they'll show it for a week or two. They showed it in the Calgary game. They gave up nothing. And then the next game, they're like, it was one game. We don't have to do it again. Right? Like, it's frustrating. I would think, like, it's frustrating because now I feel like an idiot because I thought the Calgary game was like a turning point for them. Because honestly, you're like, hey, you play that sound defensively, you're capable of doing it. You'd think, you'd be like, oh, we had success. Right? It's like, how do I train my dog? I give her a treat to ring the bell so she goes outside. And then a dog's like, oh, geez, if I ring that bell, I get a treat. Well, I'm going to start ringing the bell. I get rewarded for it. The Edmonton Oilers like, hello, do you want to win games? Do you want to feel good about yourself? Well, play how you did against Calgary. Play sound defensively. They do it once, then it's like, I don't need to do it again. And it's collectively because it's different guys every game.
Does Coach Woodcroft at some point, like, he's a very positive person. He's always very compelling when he speaks. At some point, he put away the carrot and take out the stick and start smacking people?
At some point, there needs to be, and the easiest accountability, and we saw it, like, Evander Kane started one game on the third line. And to Evander Kane's credit, in that game, he had a hell of a scrap. And he didn't really miss much time, right? He was on the third line. He said, he makes the comment, I don't like my minutes. Well, a lot of that was due to the Oilers being on the penalty kill, so he's not on it. But to his credit, he's done something about it. Who's been the Oilers' best forward the last 4 games? Evander Kane. Right? It's not even close. He's hitting, he's scoring, he's passing, he's doing everything. Right? Evan Bouchard gets started in the third. What does he do? He plays very well against the Rangers. Decent against Calgary. Decides, wow, that's good enough. Now I'm just going to float out to the sideboards and let them come up the middle and give an easy tap in goal, right? So it hasn't continued, right? And so to me, as a coach, now, sure, it sucks when you don't have many players and you're down to 10 forwards. And so Derek Ryan was the one guy out of the rotation last night. It's not like you can just bench guys because they don't have anybody to play, but you can do different things. Like, why Sam Gagner, in my eyes, wasn't on the ice to start that face-off in the offensive zone when you're trailing 4-3 and he's the guy going the most. It doesn't mean he's a better player long-term than Zach Hyman or Ryan Nugent-Hopkins or whoever you're going to take off, but Kane and Gagner and Nugent-Hopkins had to be on the ice. They were the 3 guys going the most. And obviously I assume it's going to be Draisaitl and McDavid. So Zach Hyman, I'm really sorry, but for one minute, you're not the guy out there.
Sam Gagner is on pace for over 150 goals this season. And if you think you can take that kind of firepower off the ice with a minute left, I don't know.
No. So it's it just, to me, like, those are areas where responsibility is on everyone. Nobody gets a free pass, or Connor McDavid doesn't get a free pass. Right? Leon Draisaitl doesn't get a free pass. I've liked Draisaitl's game until last night. And when Draisaitl gets frustrated, which I understand because I have, asked my wife, I'm not the most patient human being, so I get it. But last night, Leon Draisaitl, as a leader, or somebody else, I remember, Brett, everybody remembers this. Remember Jonathan Toews, right? They call him Captain Series. He's a captain of their team. He's composed. He's hardworking. Well, he's losing his mind in a playoff game once. Absolutely beside himself, right? He went on tilt. Well, who goes over to the penalty box? Brent Seabrook. I don't know what he said, but he didn't say, hey, Taser, great job. No, he told him, bleepity bleep, wake up, like, we need you. You got to calm the bleep down. So why doesn't somebody go over to Leon Draisaitl? And trust me, I was watching the bench. Now, maybe it happened in intermission. Maybe. But there's no one that says, hey, man, your passing's not working tonight. Simplify it. Put the damn puck on net. Stop trying to feed it through 4 guys. How many of his passes got knocked down last night? Right? How many? So that to me is good leadership. You hold each other accountable. Right? We had Craig Simpson in here, Randy Gregg, like Yaroslav freaking Pozar. When they lose the Stanley Cup in 1983, Yaroslav Pozar. There was 2 moments that Kevin Lowe said that when they were just like, man, Yaroslav Pozar, this guy's legit. Number 1 is when he one-punched Al Secord in Chicago that got their team. They're just like, oh my God. Like, Al Secord was tough and Yaroslav Pozar one-punched him. Right? And they're just like, okay, it gets our attention. Number 2 was very calmly, not yelling, very calmly after the Stanley Cup, Finals, they lose. And Posar stood up and just said, if you guys want to win. And he said, you guys, because he was, an older player. He probably didn't think he'd be around here forever. And it wasn't guaranteed they'd miss the next year. He says, you got to play like a team. Wayne, you got to come back. And he pointed out to different guys. So and Jaroslav Posar, third line player, the whole thing of leadership is, and sometimes I get the sense in the organization that no one can ever say anything to the best players. And that's a problem. I don't know if it's true, but I've been around for a long time. I get that sense sometimes. And like outside of Ekholm, like they don't have a ton of veteran leader guys.
That was why they brought a guy like Duncan Keith in, I think,
100%.
originally. That he could look him in the eye and say, I have the cups.
And he helped a lot.
Yeah, I did.
Right? Despite some fans who thought they didn't because they didn't understand.
But you have to have the pedigree. You have to be able to look those guys in the eye and say, I know what it takes.
But
even starts with a cup.
Sure, but Jaroslav Posar didn't have a cup.
No,
Jaroslav Posar came from Europe. So I don't even think it has. You have to respect your teammates. It can't be like, well, I'm a superstar, so I'm above anybody ever telling me what to do. Right? And so to me, I don't ever see anybody who comes over and says, hey, Leon, the grumpiness is going away right now. I get you're frustrated. Suck it up, Buttercup. Stop forcing passes. Take the puck to the net. You're a power forward. We see it.
Do Connor and Leon hold each other to account?
I would assume they do, maybe, but I don't know.
I've never seen it publicly, though. I can't think of a time where I saw them.
And it doesn't always have to be public. When Jaroslav Posar did, he didn't do it in front of everybody. He did it in the room. But I don't hear those things, right? Like Darnell Nurse, does he do it? I don't know. Do they do it to him? I don't know. But at some point, all of the talking means nothing because their actions are showing that they don't care enough. And it's not that they don't care. They don't care enough to want to be committed consistently at eliminating gift goals.
Should they bring back actual Jaroslav Posar to talk to the team?
Well,
where is he? We can probably bring him in.
Yeah.
You got it once, you got it again in you.
All right. Like I don't know if you read the article at OilersNation.com today.
Sure do.
And about the Oilers, because you have lots of guys, the Oilers season's over. There's no chance of making the playoffs when you're 2-6-1. Well, that's not true. I'll point it out. So since 2006, which is, I think, the most important time, there has actually been 4 teams who have made the playoffs when they have started this poorly.
That's it.
Keep in mind, though, there's only 33 teams that have done this poorly out of the gate. So
since
think about
2006.
Yeah, there's only 33 teams that have had 5 points or less in their first 9 games.
Oh, no.
And now there's 3 teams this year, the Flames, the Oilers, and the Sharks, funny enough, but I haven't included them in the 33 because we don't know what their end of season is going to be, right? Up until this season, there was 33 of them. And 4 of them made the playoffs. 24 of them were like bottom 5 terrible teams, including the Oilers in 2014, Chicago, Anaheim, teams that you said, like the San Jose Sharks this year. Everybody knows the Sharks are a bottom 5 team, right? It's the easiest bet in your life. Pick the Sharks to be bottom 5. There's probably no odds for it at playalberta.ca, but if there was, you put your house on it because it's a guarantee. But do I think the Edmonton Oilers are a bottom 5 team? No, they're not that bad. So then that eliminates the 24 because I don't put them in that category. So now there's 9 other teams. 4 of them made the playoffs. 1 of them came close and missed in New Jersey. And then the other 4 were bottom 10 teams. So really not that close. So you have to ask yourself as an Oilers fan, where do they fall in? Are they the New Jersey team who will just miss? Or are they the Philadelphia Flyers who made it? Are they the Dallas Stars, who, by the way, in 2019-20 did it? And they started 1-7-1, even worse, and made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Right? And they actually gained all this ground in 69 games because that was during when the season shut down, right?
That was even a harder handicap.
Washington did it in 2013 when there was only 48 games. Right? They only had 39 games to make up the ground, and they did it. So it is possible, Oilers fans. And Edmonton, and the other thing is, Clark, in the history of the NHL, Edmonton is only the 9th team ever who had 100 points the year before and then started this poorly. In the history, I'm going back all time, and starts in 1981, the Canadiens and the Bruins. Of those first 8 teams, 5 of them made the playoffs, 3 of them didn't.
How do you know all this off the top of your head? You're not even looking at your computer right now.
Well, I researched and I wrote
this
the article
is unbelievable.
Today. Yeah. So I researched.
I think I feel worse. I feel worse knowing all of these stats. I don't feel better. I don't think you found a path for me to.
Well, no, look, 5 out of 3, or 5 out of 8 have made the playoffs. right? And if we all assume that Edmonton isn't a bottom 5 team, then 4 out of the other 9 in 2006 and beyond have made the playoffs.
It's a coin toss.
But then you put in the fact that Edmonton was a very good team the year before, right? Like Montreal was one of the teams that made they made the playoffs, and then they didn't make the playoffs the following year, going 2-6-1. But they actually missed the playoffs 3 out of 4 years. Like the year they made it was kind of like an outlier for them, right? Carey Price was a Vezina Trophy winner. They had 2 guys with 50 points, and they still made the playoffs. So it was kind of a weird thing. Edmonton has been 5 rounds of the playoffs the last 2 years. They've shown they're a good team. They got the core, but now we'll find out. We will find out this season how much will and heart and desire this team actually has. Now, they might blow their nut out in the regular season and not have anything left in the postseason. We'll see. But that's what I'm going to be looking at. I'm not going to be looking at 2 games of good defense from this team. They got to show me 2 months before I will ever believe that Edmonton has turned the corner when it comes to defensive hockey.
I remember the one in 2014, the Decade of Darkness, and we were out by Halloween. Do you remember that year?
Which year, buddy? There's quite a few.
Well, there was one. What was the worst of the worst? There was the one year.
Well, 2013-14, they were 2-6-1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that always seemed like a low water point for the Decade of Darkness. And thereafter, we would always look back and be like, well, there was the one year we were damn near out by Halloween. Equally concerning for some Oilers fans.
Oh, there should be some concern here.
Yeah.
There's no question there. I think it's valid to have concern, but then it's also valid to have to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, there's talent on this team. So where are they? Like it's not impossible is my point of the article. I would say Edmonton, if you look at out of those 17 that are probably fair comparables, either 100-point teams the year before and had bad starts, or the other 9 teams since 2006. If you look at those 17 teams, you've had 9 who made the playoffs. So above 50% odds. Can Edmonton become the 10th? That's the question now. I don't think San Jose is making it. For sure, I would. Well, we know
it's not looking good,
right? Calgary, they might be the New Jersey team, right? Because they didn't make the playoffs last year, right? So it's not like they're coming off a 109-point season. It's different.
When I look ahead on the calendar and see that Sharks game, I'm a little bit worried, Gregor. You don't want a winless Shark coming in
Trust
here.
Trust me. No, well, Edmonton goes there, number 1.
Yeah.
And number 2, there is nothing to be fearful of San Jose. I said at the start of the year,
they're not going to go 0-82.
No, but they're not going to win. Honestly, they're going to have
10 games.
They're going to have the fewest wins of any team in the 2000s, which is 19. They will have the fewest wins. Mark my words. They are not good. Their defensive structure is terrible, and when you start to lose that much, it becomes hard, right? Like it's, that's your job, and yes, it's your. But think about going to your job and losing. Well, so far, like every game, right? Like. I don't care how positive a person you are, that's going to stink. Quick break. We'll return. We have lots of text to get to. Also, Lowetide will be by Spec and Button and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. your love for the game, and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
Trevor is lonely. Yeah. So Trevor threw a big party and served salad. Nobody came. Mike is also lonely. Yeah, it sucks, man. So Mike threw a big party and served Will Hawk beef jerky.
Go Will Hawk! Go Will Hawk!
Everybody came! Will Hawk beef jerky. Because you don't win friends with salad. Will Hawk is the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. In Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Heading south? If you're an Alberta snowbird, we can help. Hi, Larry Ricci from Vision RV. We have the inventory, savings, financing, everything you need to get ready for your winter escape. Explore our big, bright showroom. Check out our 10 service bays and drive-through appointment bay. And say hi to the great staff in our parts department. You'll quickly see that you're in good hands with us. A new state-of-the-art facility with old-fashioned values and a commitment to customer service. Vision RV, just south of the Yellowhead on Highway 60.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantor. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at Cantor.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday continues on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. We're going to get to Help Your Neighbor coming up in 10 minutes' time, where you can help someone make a big difference in their life, where you can gift them a brand new high-efficiency furnace from Legacy Heating and Cooling. But first, we're going to get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Stop in this weekend if you're looking, go get a test drive on any of their 2023 models, because they're clearing them out and you'll get $5,000 off. Any model right now, VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. As Alan Mitchell joins us, host of the Lowdown, noon to 2 weekdays on Sports 1440. And I know Al, I think he might have a blister on his finger as he keeps refreshing to see who is going to be recalled by the Edmonton Oilers. I'm not really sure it matters, though, Al. I'm going to say this. Now, Sam Gagner made a huge impression. Good for him. He's a veteran guy. Ernie Lavoie, it'll create, conversation for people. But if the Oilers' main minute eaters don't decide to eliminate the gift goals, I don't think it matters who's going to be the 11th forward on this team.
Yeah, I think the Oilers are this era. Oilers are going to be an entertaining team, and they certainly are. But they're not going to win anything. because they say they're going to do certain things, like they were going to show up and they were going to play a different style, and they're going to play it all year. Cody Ceci, a veteran, makes a mistake, and it's in the back of the net. Darnell Nurse goes down and tries to stop the pass, and it still goes in the net because the shot was good enough. Broberg makes a mistake back of the net. Bouchard totally misreads the play. Connor McDavid, God love him, he's a wonderful player. He pulls the shoot, and the guy he was going to be covering ends up sending a gorgeous pass, or getting a gorgeous pass and putting the puck in the net. This team is not disciplined, and so there's a time, I have 2 kids, and sometimes you can talk the talk, and then sometimes you have to walk the walk. And if the Oilers are serious about winning anything, then they really have to be a button-down team, and they're not. Darnell Nurse is still doing the same things he was doing 3 or 4 years ago. Connor McDavid is a fantastic player. He's the one guy on the entire team who you could forgive for pulling the shoot on a play. But Evan Bouchard has to be a better defenseman. Broberg ended up getting sent to the minors, and that's fine for however long he's gone. But these are veteran players who are not getting it done. And quite frankly, the Edmonton Oilers, I think, are going to have themselves a new coach here in a month if they're not careful. And really, it's ridiculous because I don't think the coach is the problem. This team does not pay attention to detail, and they are. One time, Glenn Sather said about his team when they were playing poorly in the 80s at the beginning of the year, he said, everybody thinks they're Gretzky. And I think that's the problem with this team. Nobody wants to play defense, so they don't.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing now. It's not even, to me, it's not even about defense. It's about, like, the Calgary game. They decide, guess what? Okay, you know what? We're going to play smart. We're not going to give up many chances. The Flames had 2 high danger chances the whole game, 5-on-5. So they elected to choose to do it. The problem is they don't buy in. There's no desire to do it all the time. Like, I was watching Boston-Toronto before the Oilers game last night. And I'm watching David Pastrnak, Al. Because if most people said describe David Pastrnak, I could say, well, he's a goal scorer, right? And everyone's like, well, Bergeron protects him. He doesn't have to be great defensively. And here he is with no top line center, arguably not even a second line center. And here's Pastrnak. You know what he's doing in the first period? He's running the Toronto Maple Leafs show physically. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is why this team is wins, because other guys like, you know what? I'm going to do something that maybe doesn't come naturally to me, but because I've learned from other guys that it's important and everybody has to do things. And everybody on the Oilers needs to figure out that you have to stop gifting goals. Because last night it was Ceci, Broberg, and Bouchard. The night before, it could have been Nurse, or it could have been Hyman or Kane. Go down the list. Like, there's no one that you can say consistently is like, well, here's a guy we never have to worry about making a bad play. Like, I'm sure there's some who do it less often now, but as a team, somebody takes turns. It's like they work at a mall, Al, and it's like, whose turn is it to be Santa Claus this year? Okay, it's mine this week, and I'll be dressed up as Santa Claus and gifting out the goals.
Yeah, and they don't, like, Dallas is a better team than Calgary, so it was going to be a tough effort, but the Stars, they played mind the store until there were turnovers, and then it was a jailbreak, and they ended up. So the winning goal was a textbook on how a team can put another team away. And as it turned out, even though there was pushback, that ended up being the winning goal. But the Stars play a more mature game, and I'm not blaming the coaches. I think the coaches, say the right things. I just think that the Edmonton Oilers have. They have some injuries. McDavid's been hurt. Ekholm's hurt. McLeod is hurt. They've got some issues. It's not like there's, zero reason why they're playing like this. I get it. And they are winning the shot battle. But, single events in a game, single mistakes in a game can have enormous impact and still just be a single mistake. So your Corsi and your shot share and your high dangers are all really good. But when you make the mistakes and how you cover the mistakes, and, CC pinches and there's nobody. And so they're talking the talk and they're not walking the walk. If I'm an Oilers fan, I really am careful about investing in this team this year, because they really look like a bunch of individuals, and whatever the coaching staff is telling them, they're not listening, and that's dangerous. I think there'll be a new coach here within a month.
You're scaring the socks off me, LT. I don't know what to think now. Coach Woodcroft was the heat. We love that guy. Not 6 weeks ago, he was the top of the pile, I thought.
I'm a fan of Woodcroft. I don't think it's his fault.
Yeah, see, I hear the coach. I don't know. To me, that would be somewhat of a knee-jerk reaction. Now, I don't think the coach is completely innocent in this. Like, small little details. I'd have had Sam Gagner on the ice in the last minute of that. He was going. From a game-to-game perspective, that's what I would have. But because to me, the issues that are here in Edmonton were here before Jay Woodcroft. And even if you bring in a new coach, now maybe you can bring in a coach that, because here's the thing, Al, who's the hard ass coach? Because I think that's what they need. Like, who's the hard ass coach that you can bring in? Like Rick Tocchet in Vancouver. He came in, and now they're not perfect, but we've seen improvements in their deficiencies. Like in Vancouver, he felt like they didn't have enough energy and willingness to play hard enough. Like they're not sound defensively. They got a good goaltender. If you look at a lot of the chances they give up, they still give up a lot of chances, right? So they're not a perfect team, but they wanted something specific added, and he's added it. Who would be the coach you think out there they could bring in that could actually get the Oilers to buy in to being better regularly defensively?
Well, I think it would be a veteran like a Gallant or Julian or somebody like that. And the structure itself, I think, it's important. But I think the message and who it comes from might be the key. Woodcroft is, I think, a low-key guy and a logic guy, and I think he invests a lot in the intelligence of the players. And I totally think that's the way to go. I think Woodcroft is a fine coach. That said, if they're not listening to him, then I do think you have to bring in. Mike Babcock's not coming here. I don't even know if Joel Quenneville would be hired by the organization. But if they're going to make a move, it'll be a veteran, and some of the names that I've mentioned might be some of them that they look at.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to me. It's funny, the one name you heard whispers on, but he hasn't been reinstated. I'd heard for his Joe Quenneville, so. But he's not reinstated, so I don't see how that would be an option. But I did around the Heritage Classic, man. I had a few people who mentioned that to me, and I was like, well, he's not even hasn't been cleared yet by the NHL. But again, it's Gary Bettman, so that could change tomorrow, Al. And they would send out a release that says we have no more comment on this.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is they got to figure out where the Oilers send the second round pick for Quenneville, because the Oilers are the team that has to trade a pick to get a coach, apparently. So nobody else does. But
there were a few others, yes, but that was in the history of the NHL. That might have been the dumbest rule they ever implemented. Hey, a team fired him, but if you hire him, you have to give them. I'm like, pardon? Like, I can see if you took an assistant coach from another team, that actually makes sense. But when you this guy we fired because we didn't want him in our organization, but now you have to pay us to take him. And, oh, by the way, we don't even have to pay his salary anymore. What? Like, God, think about how dumb that was in hindsight. It's utterly amazing. So here's my question, Al, for you. The Oilers play Nashville tomorrow. They beat them for fun, usually. So they could beat Nashville. To me, it won't mean anything until I see the Oilers go, and I'm going to put it at, I need to see the Oilers go 2 months where 90% of the time they're not playing Santa Claus. Otherwise, to me, nothing changes.
Yep, I'm with you all the way. And I want to see them in that 2 months beat some good teams, like some teams that you would say, okay, Carolina or one of that East Coast swing, they have days off between, so it's not going to be as bad as it looks. But I'd like to see them win some games against teams that are maybe in the offseason we thought might be 50-50, because they lost to Vancouver twice, and they lost to a team in Dallas last night, or here against Dallas, that had 3 and 4 and back-to-backs. And I kept waiting for Dallas to fade a little bit, and they did, but it took a long time, and it wasn't enough by the Oilers. So they need to play. They need to erase the CC play, the Broberg play, the Bouchard play, and then have McDavid play healthy. When you see that, they'll be winning hockey games.
Al, who do you like in the CFL playoffs this weekend?
Oh, my God. It's really hard to say, because, I mean, the year went by so strangely for me anyway. I don't know about for you, where it was sort of up and down, and I'm thinking, well, this team will be okay. Or I thought for a while that Montreal was going to be the class of the group, and it comes out and you're like, okay, it's Toronto, and I'll say Winnipeg, but based on what I think right now, God.
Like Hamilton and Calgary on the road with, to me, Hamilton going into Montreal was 11-7, Calgary into BC, and I know they just beat them, so anything can happen. But
I'm going to say Hamilton and BC win.
Oh, going with the Tiger Cats, eh? Old one final ride for the gunslinger Bo is what you're saying.
I want to see.
Okay. And Al, before sorry to interrupt, breaking news, Al. Yeah. I wanted on a positive Friday for you. Raphael Lavoie is coming to Edmonton.
Oh, thank you, baby Jesus. I can burn out. I can take all the candles out, and because I had 700 lit in my backyard, and my neighbors were worried about a fire, I can finally get them out.
Well, he will make his NHL debut tomorrow.
By the way, boys, just so you know, he'll play 2 minutes. That's the way it'll go.
Oh, well, we'll see, Al. What happens if he doesn't light it up? That's what. Then people are going to be like, what? And be like, well, the AHL is a little different. It would be unreal, though, if he could fall in the footsteps of Sam Gagner, now wouldn't it?
Well, it would be. What I want to see from all that I think the Oilers should be looking for is play him in some games, get him into like 17 games, have him score a goal and 3 assists, and then he might have enough trade value to chip him in or cash him in for something of use of the deadline. They don't have any more picks to trade. They got to build some value in the Brobergs and the Holloways and the Lavoies.
All right, Al. Have yourself a great weekend.
Boys, be good. Stay out of trouble.
Have a great weekend, Lowetide.
Alan Mitchell, a.k.a. Lowetide. It's fired up.
He's creeping me out with all this new coach talk. It's much too soon.
Yeah. God, the new coach. Now, I will say this. The new boss didn't hire the current coach. That always is a small factor. Problem. It's always a small factor.
He can't be sitting here thrilled with what he's seen in his first season on the job.
No, well, he's probably getting a good inside scoop on how things are going. So we'll see. We'll come back. Help your neighbor. 5 questions and more on the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
You know, I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Story time with Mr. Rooter.
Mr. Rooter, can you tell me a bedtime story?
Sure, son. But can you just call me Dad?
Nope.
How about Papa?
No, you're Mr. Rooter.
Okay, son. What story this time?
Can you read the one about the sewer roots?
No way. You know how you get root nightmares.
Please.
Not a chance.
Please. Papa?
Oh, boy. Just don't tell your mother.
You mean Mrs. Rooter?
For a plumbing story with a happy ending, call Mr. Rooter.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
One call does it all. Action Electrical is proud to celebrate 50 years of providing complete electrical services and a full circle of care, including projects, service, TAG, and energy. From humble beginnings in a small Sherwood Park basement to a family-run business, the Action Electrical stamp can be found on some of the most iconic schools, office buildings, and warehouses across Canada. From conception to completion and beyond, contact
The Professionals
at actionelectrical.net today.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
Ours costs less than Wetaskiwin.
Portions of this hour brought to you by UL. From LED lighting audits and retrofits to design-built distribution systems, UL services can give you the edge you need to impress your clients. EWEL.ca.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.448. Sports 1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Before we get to 5 questions, let's get to Help Your Neighbor. It's a Positive Friday. So, what we're going to do today in Positive Friday, first of all, tell you what's up for grabs. Number 1, if you are the lucky qualifier today, you'll get one of the exclusive Sports 1440 hats. Money. So they look good. You get your choice of blue or white. You will then go into the draw. On Monday, November 20th, we're going to draw a name. That name, if it's yours, you are going to win the Nominator Prize, which is a pair of tickets to the Oilers Wild game on a Friday night in December. Hey, you might have to blow off some steam. Be fun. You'll also have your choice of, you'll get the Google Nest or Ecobee smart system installed in your house, courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. And then the big prize, you are going to gift someone a brand new high-efficiency furnace. It's the Goodman 96% high-efficiency furnace. Now, it comes with a thermostat. It comes with all of the permits, everything. Legacy Heating will actually dispose of the old furnace. Of course, they'll install the new one. Comes with labor, 5-year on parts, 10-year on labor, and a lifetime heater exchange warranty. You're going to get all that. You're going to gift it to someone. So today, you text in at 833-401-1440. And we'll just do a random draw, but we need someone out there. You text in someone that you know that could use a furnace. We'll give you a few minutes. We'll do 5 questions. Then Connor will do a random pick of somebody who, this person needs a brand new furnace. Now, remember, they need to own their own home and live within 100 kilometers of Edmonton. Okay? So think about that. Text in why you should win and who you would gift it to. Who's this person that you know that really needs one? 833-401-1440. Now, while we wait for those to come in, let's get to 5 questions, or as Wanye likes to say, 5 questions, brought to you by The Brick. And The Brick's Black Friday early access sale is going on right now, man. You can get 60% off genuine leather reclining sofas. Hey, who doesn't want that? The dog makes an accent much better on the leather than the cloth, for sure. Get them all at The Brick, thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys, let's go back to last night. I'll ask you this question. I'll just tie it in a bow here. If you were in the situation, down by a goal, a couple minutes left, who would have been your 6 Edmonton Oilers on the ice last night?
Well, you got to go with Sam Gagner. I mean, I don't know about the other 5. You can take your pick, but how do you not play the hot hand? How do you not have Sam Gagner tie the game by scoring a hat trick? Good heavens.
No, it's a valid point. I know the coach said afterwards, well, he was up next, and well, he didn't get up. And that's like, what are you waiting for? Like, there's no guarantees coming, right? Because you assume your guys are going to be in the offensive zone the whole time, and either scoring or they're applying pressure. So when's he going to get on the ice? So I've said it earlier. To me, I would have had Kane, Nugent Hopkins, and Kane, Nugent Hopkins, and Gagner. And then, of course, I put on McDavid and Draisaitl, and I'd have Evan Bouchard.
Question number 2, since being sent down, obviously, maybe concerns or questions about Philip Broberg. I want to ask you guys, what do you think the long-term plan is for Philip Broberg and the Oilers organization? And has he lived up to what you thought he would be since being drafted?
Well, defenseman early on, like Broberg was never drafted as a guy who was going to be a high offensive player. He didn't have that pedigree, right? I think they drafted him to be a solid defender, who had really good skating ability, and he doesn't use it very often. Now, we can argue, is it the chicken and the egg? Does he have it, but he's not playing enough, so he doesn't get in the rhythm? It's a fair question. It's still relatively early when you think of where he could be in his career in 5 years from now. So, obviously, now, at the time, I was the one who said I would have taken Matt Boldy for 2 reasons. Number 1, I think defensemen take longer to develop. And number 2, Edmonton didn't have any big shooting wingers in the organization. I didn't say Zegras. I said Matt Boldy at the time. That's who I would have taken. I'm not the GM. But I think Broberg will end up being a trade piece. When you asked where do I think the long-term plan is, that's what I think is going to happen here.
I think a lot of Oilers fans, when they think about Broberg, think about Oscar Klefbom, who was gone too soon. And because he was another big Swedish defenseman, they were trying to mentally shoehorn him in as the next Oscar Klefbom. I think that's unfair. He's only, less than 80 games into his career, Broberg, but I think that he probably would be somebody that another organization would take a look at and say, maybe we can get some more out of this guy.
Question number 3 for you guys. After their 10-1 loss to the Canucks last night, I need a number. How many wins for the San Jose Sharks this season?
Well, Gregor said earlier that they are going to be less than 19, and I think that would be quite hilarious.
So what's your number?
18? To me, that seems comically low to even put that on a team.
It is crazy.
It
is crazy low. But, Logan Couture's already hurt. Like, look at their blue line. Without Eric, like, if you want to see how valuable Erik Karlsson was last year, now you're seeing it. I think the Sharks are going to win 16 games.
Should be a fun season. Question number 4 for you guys. Lots of football this weekend. CFL, NFL, of course, the Golden Bears as well. Give me one game you're looking forward to the most.
Well, I'm actually kind of disappointed I can't go to the Golden Bears game because my son's hockey team is we got a big game. So when you're the coach, hey, you know what? But I will say, I won't get to watch that one. So the game I'm most looking forward to is the BC Lions Calgary Stampeder game. Calgary, it makes it intriguing now because of what they did in BC and where they spanked them a few weeks ago. So I will say that game.
I'm just waiting with breathless excitement for the XFL and USFL to merge. So it's just so hard for me to look at the paltry NFL games this weekend and look for anything that's exciting. Probably I would look at Philly and Dallas, right? The Eagles are off to such a good start, and watching the Cowboys get beat's always fun. That'd be my top game this weekend.
How about the game in Germany? KC, Miami. That'll be good too. Final question for you guys today. Hypothetical Friday. So I got to throw something weird at you. How long do you think you would survive if shipments of food stopped entirely?
We're talking zombie apocalypse here?
Somewhat, but minus the zombies.
Is cannibalism a valid option in this scenario?
Yeah.
Wow. I'll live indefinitely. I'd develop a taste for it.
Well, I haven't grown up on a farm, and we had our own garden for years and butchered pigs and cows. I think I would be fine. We have lots of land. You can, I know a very good butcher, because that's what a lot of people don't understand, is the butcher and how they hang the meat makes a big difference in how it's going to taste. So we have enough land that we could fatten up cows and still have the, I could easily bring in a few pigs because I want to mix things up, want to have some pork, right? Still got the chicken house. So I think I would be fine, Connor Halley.
You can call me up. I'll bring you some meat. Don't ask what it is.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
I'll bring
okay.
you a bag.
Yeah, I think you and I would be dining on different things there, Hannibal Lecter. So, I'm not to judge. I think it's, who knows? Like in Alive, they had to do it.
They had to do it.
So
maybe you like it,
right? Yeah, yeah.
You don't know till you try.
Yeah. Well, I would try to max. I would be looking at my, like rabbit.
Yeah.
Before that,
squirrel.
Yeah. Well, squirrel, sure.
A pinch.
Mm-hmm. Right. I've seen people. Do you see in Calgary they got a little bit of rats right now?
Is there a rat problem in Calgary?
I read it that yesterday they got some rats. They still say we're rat free.
How can this be? I
but
wonder.
There's rats, so I don't know if you have to have a certain amount before you become. Because to me, rat free means zero.
Doesn't
mean 10. Doesn't mean 20.
Limited rats.
So supposedly there's some. Yeah, that was the news story out of Calgary. So, and I wasn't talking about the hockey team. They were actually talking about full on rats.
They pay one rat 10 million. I won't tell you which one it is.
They're having a tough one for sure. So we got a lot of texts coming in on for Help Your Neighbor. Con's going to pick one after the sports update, and then we'll get them on the line. But first, here is the Con Man of Sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton Kubota. They don't want to say the word, but you know it's coming. Plan ahead, and they have great snow removal equipment with all the attachments. It's your key to a smooth, hassle-free winter. Shop now at EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers making some roster moves today, loaning defenseman Philip Broberg to the Bakersfield Condors in a corresponding move. Raphael Lavoie has been recalled in 5 games down in California. The 23-year-old has 4 goals and 3 helpers plus 17 penalty minutes. On the ice tonight, you've got a couple games. Flyers taking on the Buffalo Sabres, and then the Blues hosting the Devils. The Oilers, of course, take on the Nashville Predators tomorrow at 1. The NBA's in-season tournament gets going tonight. Just in a couple of minutes here. Pacers host the Cavs. The Knicks take on the Bucks. You've got the Heat hosting the Wizards. The Nets in Chicago. Thunder up against the Warriors. The Mavs in Denver. And the Trailblazers taking on the Grizzlies. CFL playoffs get rolling tomorrow. Tiger Cats in Montreal at 1. And at 4:30, Stamps take on the BC Lions. Tonight down at Rogers Place, the Oil Kings in action taking on the Moose Jaw Warriors. That one's starting just after 7 in the AJ. 5 games on the schedule, including the Spruce Grove Saints in Drumheller, while Sherwood Park travels to Brooks. Both those games starting at 7. Busy week for the University of Alberta. A lot of games where they take on the Saskatchewan Huskies. Starts off tonight down at the Drake. The hockey team taking on the Huskies. 7 o'clock today, 7 o'clock tomorrow. The Pandas on the flip side in Saskatchewan tonight at 7, tomorrow at 5. You've also got basketball at the Saddle Center, Bears and Pandas tonight and tomorrow. And then the volleyball, Bears and Pandas taking on Mount Royal tonight and tomorrow. And tomorrow down at Foot Field, Golden Bears football hosting Saskatchewan. That one starting at 5. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and TSN's Craig Button. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. NextGen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our NextGen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit NextGenTransportation.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
If you have mobility issues, a residential elevator can allow you to enjoy your home for longer, but finding the right elevator or lift can be daunting. RAM Elevators and Lifts can get you started with 3 simple questions. What kind of space are you installing the elevator in? How far does it need to travel? And are you interested solely in function, or is the look of your lift important? Make your home more accessible with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family owned and operated for over 30 years.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. NextGen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our NextGen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit NextGenTransportation.com.
This is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Favorite us right now.
Powered by playalberta.ca. If you gamble, use your game sense. Learn more at gamesense.ab.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310 Glass or book now at crystalglass.ca.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock, as you make your way home. Hey, it's Friday, man. That's great. Sit back, relax. You don't have the stress of an Oiler game tonight, but you will have it tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock start. Remember that. Pre-game show at Oilers Nation YouTube will be at noon tomorrow, so be sure not to miss that. It's the Gregor Show, as always, presented by our title sponsor, playalberta.ca, where we do the every day where we do a wager, and at the end of the month we hope to raise any money. We were good in September. We were up October. We ended up donating nothing. It was not a great month, so it's kind of like the Oilers. Really, it's how it works. So we've got to get back on track. If you have any that you like this weekend, always text them in. It's because we always do a 3-bet parlay for 20 bones. And then hopefully try to win, get back on track. So if there's any that you like this weekend, text them in at 833-401-1440. Help your neighbor, courtesy of Legacy Heating and Cooling. Connor did a random draw, and it came up Jana. Jana, how are you?
Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well. So you were in. You get the brand new Sports 1440 hat. And your name will go in the draw, and if you're drawn, then you win some tickets. You win the Ecobee or the Google Nest. But then most importantly, you get to gift a furnace to someone. Who would you want to gift it to?
Oh, my lovely friend Sarah.
And does Sarah need a new furnace right now?
I believe she does, because the last time I was over there, it sounded like a wash machine on the spin cycle.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough. Many of us have been there at some point, so I get that. Well, that's awesome. Well, that put you in the very good friend book, I would think, for sure. So stay on the line. Connor will get all your information, and best of luck. Be sure to be tuning in, every day, but definitely on Monday, November 20th.
Awesome. I listen all day, every day.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks so much. We appreciate it. There you go. Yeah. It's always good when you get a loyal listener winning. I love it. Well, you're all pretty loyal. That's what we're lucky about our listeners. Very loyal, very passionate. The text line brought to you by Jiffy Lube has been humming today. And, I'll say this, pretty solid agreement across the board that people are just like, you know what? It's the show me time now. Talk is cheap, right? I don't care that they have more post-game F-bombs than wins. That's probably like the worst stat they can have. They being the Edmonton Owners. Raphael Lavoie, if you missed it, has been recalled because Connor Brown got injured last night. They haven't placed him on long-term IR yet, so they had to send Broberg down so they could recall Lavoie, and that means they're going to have to go 11 forwards and 6 defensemen. I don't expect Janmark to be ready, so they'll go 11 and 6 for one game. Then they can make an emergency recall, and they can bring Broberg back up if they want, or they could bring up another forward for the Vancouver game on Monday. Let's get to the Spec Report now, brought to you by GS Construction. And they just remind you, through all the construction zones around town, Yellowhead, Stony Plain Road, they want to get them done as quick as they can. Stay patient. They appreciate it. GS Construction, as Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us once again. And Spec, the orders, they could only dream that Raphael Lavoie can come up and make it as immediate of impact as Sam Gagner did last night.
What a great story, eh? It's such a shame that they didn't win the game. It's a shame that you had to leave the rink going, that was nice, but right. Sam Gagner, what a man. Did he play hard, and did he get to the net, and did he go inside? How many times did you see on Twitter someone say the rest of the guys should be playing like Sam Gagner? Like, who thought we'd be saying that? It was awesome night for Gagner. And I think the best thing, look, lots of emotion, right? Gets a goal, back home, all that stuff. Papa Oiler, they were calling him. But the best thing is it really does look like he can skate. His hips are clearly good. He had nice speed last night for a guy his age. I liked it a lot. And to me, the emotion's going to come. The emotion's going to go. He's not scoring 2 every night. But if he can skate, Jay, he can help the team.
Well, the energy and the emotion and where he went is that is unfortunate. I'm sorry, I disagreed with the fact that he wasn't on the ice coming out of the TV timeout, the timeout when they're down 4-3. And I don't care if he's the next guy up. The next guy up does you no good, because if you're in the offensive zone, you either score or you don't. So why not have the guy who was the hottest guy on your team at that moment in the game on the ice? I'm not saying they would have scored, but I don't know. He had some mojo. And mojo's legit, man. It happens. I would have went with Samwise at that point if I was the head coach. But here's the thing, Spec. And Evander Kane said, "Hey, we gotta figure out. We gotta play smarter. Until we do, we're not going to win." We've heard this. I watched last night. There's 3 goals against that were easy goals for Dallas to score, because now Cody Ceci's played well all year, but that's a terrible pinch. Can't do it. Philip Broberg, all you had to do is dump the puck in. You can't dump it in, and then you go change, and it's a 3-on-1, easy goal. And then the worst one, for me anyway, because it was a 3-on-3. It was a nothing play until Bouchard elected to take himself out of the play by floating over to the right side, which allowed the middle of the ice wide open. Then Rupe Hintz just skates to the net, taps home an empty net goal. I don't get those plays, Spec. And it's different guys every game or every second game. It's clearly a cultural thing in Edmonton. How does it change?
Oh, man. How long is your show? How does it change? I mean, Cody Ceci's been has he been their best defender this year? It's right there. Him and Nurse been their best 2 guys.
Yeah.
And he makes one little pinch. It's a bad pinch. You know what? He made a bad pinch. There's no getting around it. And there was no forward picking up for him. There was nobody who recognized he was pinching and said, I got to get back. I would say to you that the Broberg play, he's inattentive. It's an easy flip. Just get your, execute an easy flip and get it high and over the defenseman, get it in. He didn't execute it. But at the same time behind him, Holloway and McLeod weren't even looking to see if he executed it. They just started changing. He doesn't, he gives the puck away, which is bad on Broberg, but the two guys behind him, instead of hitting the brakes, they go to the bench, So that was a team effort. Like, there was no one, you can't make one mistake because there's no one covering your rear end. And then on the Bouchard goal, you had it right. He goes too far to the boards. Look a little further back. Who stopped skating in the neutral zone? McDavid, right? McDavid stops skating in the neutral zone, turns it into a 3-on-2. So there's lots of blame to go around, and it's not just your bit part players that are making the mistakes. It's the big boys too.
No, it's lots of the big guys. That's usually the issue, because it's your minute eaters. They're on the ice more, so yes, they have more opportunities to do it. But Spec, this has been an issue in Edmonton for a long time. And the frustrating part is they will show stretches where they'll be like, we're committed to defense. We're not going to gift goals. Because I have no problem if, like, Cody Ceci, if he's trying to make a play, it's ill-advised. If you do that once, because you don't see Cody Ceci make those terrible pinches very often, I'm like, I'd live with it if it. But the problem is, it happens once, then the Broberg play and the Bouchard. So there's 3 goals. If it's one, right, you're like, okay, whatever. It's 1 goal. It happens, right? But it happens too frequently by this group of players. And to me, until they want to solve it, Spec, and I don't ever, and you're in the room as much as I'm actually more because you're on the road. Like, I just don't know if I ever sense there is like that guy or 2 guys where there is a real high level of accountability, right? Like, even on simple things where no mistakes are made. Somebody go over to Leon Draisaitl last night and say, hey, Leon, I know you're a great passer, but for whatever reason, it's not tonight. Stop trying to force passes. Just take the damn puck to the net. Enough. Right? Like, how many times does he have to force a pass that wasn't working in the offensive zone to realize, Kate, for whatever reason, and he's a great passer, he's probably the best passer in the game, for what reason it's not working. So adjust for that moment in time and then go back to the drawing board the next game. And to me, that's their problem, is there's a stubborn arrogance that this group is just like, well, we don't have to ever adapt our game for a long stretch. We'll do it for a week or a few games, but they won't commit to having a style of play. No one can tell me what the Oilers' identity is as a team. No one, because I don't think they know.
Well, their identity is oftentimes to pass it into the net, to score pretty goals, to get tons of offense, to have the best 2 scorers in the league. Their identity is built around filling the other team's net. And as we all know in hockey, we watched it forever. The later in the season you get, the less goals get scored, and the more important the other end becomes. You can't give away goals because it's hard. You can get to 4 in October, November, December, January, even February. Once March comes, you better be able to win with 3. 3's got to be enough. And that's right, Jay. We've seen stretches where this team can beat you 3-2, but not nearly enough. They've played some pretty good games here. Like, they should win that game last night. I thought they had the majority of the play.
Yep.
But 3 quick strike goals off the rush. They should have beat Winnipeg that one game. They had way the better of the play. They gave up a couple easy goals. So I don't know if they're going to figure it out in time this year, Jay. I don't know. I'm getting a lot closer to 50-50 watching this team play because I'm not seeing it improve. Are you?
No, I'm not. Expect, go read my article at Oilers Nation. You'll see the odds. Did a whole deep dive into teams that start this bad in the first 9 games, whether it's teams that had 100 points the year before, all sorts of different things. And took a lot of research in finding it. And so it's you know what, the 50-50 you mentioned, that's pretty much kind of where it's at. I excluded of teams before 2006 because the rules were way different, right? There's more points allowed now, which can make it easier or difficult depending on how you look at it. There's also, what, like, really bad teams that are obvious bottom 5 teams, I kind of removed them from the equation because I don't think Edmonton's that bad. If Edmonton misses the playoffs, there'll be a team that misses by like 2 to 5 points, right? I don't think anybody out there thinks this roster is a bottom 5 roster. Do you?
Oh, no. They're not a bottom. The question is going to be, are they going to dig such a big hole that you can't climb out of it? Are you going to get to April and miss the playoffs by 3 points and go, man, did we ever blow that in October?
Mm-hmm.
And it's too late. October's done. So we're into November. Like, this is the team that went 7-3 in their first 10 last year and 3-7 in the next 10. Well, they're about to go, if they win tomorrow, they're going to be 3-6-1. So they better go 6-3-1 the next 10. And then they're back where they were a year ago. And a year ago, they had no trouble making the playoffs. So, if depending on how you phrase it, Jay, you can be a positive guy, you can be a negative guy. I'm more concerned with finding the right way to play the game, because I don't care that much if the Oilers make the playoffs or don't. If they're not playing the right way, this is a year that, this was cup or bust, right? It's not about making the playoffs here in Edmonton. It's about playing the style of hockey that can win games in May and June. And they are so far, Jay, so far away from executing that style of hockey defensively that they make the playoffs all you want. You're going nowhere playing like this.
I just want to confirm, Spec. You don't expect 150 goals from Sam Gagner this season, Spec?
No.
Too much?
I don't think so.
Unfair to put on him?
Rafi Lavoie's coming up.
He might get 80 points, right? You never know.
No, he's not getting 80 points.
No, not at all. Like you look at, so Gagner was on the line. They kept him with Kane and Nugent Hopkins. Hyman, Draisaitl, McDavid, then they had, so Raphael Lavoie comes up, Spec. And we saw last night, they move guys around on different lines throughout the game when you have 11 forwards. So I'm kind of curious, and I have I want to preface this. I have extremely low expectations for a rookie in his first NHL game. He is not the guy that anybody should look upon as the savior. But I will say this, if I'm Raphael Lavoie, there is something to be said about just understanding the moment. And if I'm Raphael Lavoie, I don't care about scoring. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit everything that moves and try to bring some energy and emotion, because that's what Edmonton doesn't have right now at anybody in their bottom six. And if you do that, you get noticed. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, at least he brings an element that the other guys don't. And that could be the difference in him sticking around.
Yeah, fair. That the bottom six has been an abject failure. Now, I'm going to caution. I don't think it's fair to look at the guys who are on the fourth line that has two players on it, and say, how come you don't have any chemistry yet? How come you're not playing well? Like, sorry, those guys are, but certainly that third line, the McLeod, Holloway, and whoever's with them have got nothing done. Fogle started there. He's had a great year. They moved him up. I think they're moving him back down tomorrow. To me, that line needs a good guy that's going hot on it. Maybe they can get going, but McLeod and Holloway, they're third line players. It's the top 9 league now. Like, the third line's supposed to get some goals for you here. Yep. We're 10 games in, and Holloway and McLeod have been, they're getting D's in my book because they haven't been that good defensively either. McLeod's not been good on the draws. Holloway's, I know he's a kid. I get it. He's a kid. We're trying to be patient here, but he's not getting enough done for me. So, yes, this is the time to bring Lavoie into this thing because there's opportunity. If you were going to bring him in and play him 6 minutes in the fourth line, I say leave him in Bako. He's coming up at a time when he's going to get some ice time, and now he's going to get a chance to see what he can do. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, hey, good for him. A big body who can shoot the puck. But if you're Raphael Lavoie, what you've been doing in the minors, it's obviously a very different role than what he's going to do here. And the smart players understand it, right? The smart guys, look, you got to start Todd Marchand, Sean Horkoff. There's a laundry list of players around the NHL Spec who started out in the bottom of the lineup and just worked their way up because they understood it. And you know what? Raphael Lavoie has the advantage because he's so big, right? That's on a team that doesn't, like, obviously Evander Kane's physical amongst their forwards, right? And like Fogle uses his speed, Holloway uses speed. Like, I love that play by Fogle last night when he blew it by the guy and got in on a breakaway and just, hit the outside of the goalpost. But, and I think Lavoie here has a chance to at least make an impression, and not only for him, Spec. I mean, for the Oilers, could keep in mind that he was put on waivers on October 8th. So if he stays up here, plays tomorrow, which obviously he is, then he plays again on Monday. Well, now they'd have to send him down next Wednesday. Otherwise, he'd have to clear waivers again. And here's a huge opportunity for this kid to say, you know what? I bet on myself in the summer with my contract. I come up, I play well. Even if it's not in Edmonton, I might get claimed on waivers if I make an impression. Because now he's an NHL player spec. Before he never was. Yeah. And even if it's only 1 or 5 or 7 games, that does change how people view you.
Oh, and scouts want to get their viewings against NHL competition. Scouts have seen him in the minors now for a couple of years. They've seen him. They've got everyone's got their book on Raphael Lavoie. They like him. They don't like him, whatever they may have. But what they don't have is Raphael Lavoie playing against NHL players. And if he comes up and has a couple good games, he's not making that much money. He's got good size. He's a right winger. I'd say this to you, depending on how Connor Brown's out there and how he plays, there's a spot in the top 6 right wing on this team too, Jay. There's a spot there for a guy with some hands. I still like Fogel's been as good as he can be. I still think he's a third line guy. He brings energy, he brings speed, he hits guys. He doesn't finish great. I like him on a solid third line. I like if Lavoie can hack it, if he can play it, maybe he plays above him. Let's wait and see how it looks.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if Fogel's on your third line, you talked about it earlier, Spec. You need your third line doing something, and Fogel's done something. Yeah. So you know what? That could help you potentially. We'll see.
What do you think about Broberg going down?
Well, they had to do it to bring up Lavoie. They had no choice, right? They had to send somebody down to do it, but he played 6 minutes last night. It's the best thing for him. The guy's got to play some minutes, right? And to me, and how much of this is because he hasn't played a lot? I haven't seen much development in his game as far as like what does he do well, right? Like a little bit, he transported the puck more this year, a little bit, but his skating is his best asset. We don't see it very often. So I think Philip Broberg is a player who, if the Oilers right their ship this year, is a very high possibility of somebody that they would use in a trade to bring in a decent piece.
Okay.
What do you think?
I mean, I agree with sending them down. Watching the kid play 6 minutes, then he makes one mistake last night, and that's it for his game. He doesn't play much after. This 7 defenseman thing has worked poorly for the 7 defensemen in Edmonton, and it's worked poorly for the development of a young defenseman in Philip Broberg. It doesn't work. 7 defensemen doesn't work. So get an older guy and put him in the press box as your 7th defenseman and play 6 guys, right?
Yeah,
this 7 thing, I can't stand it. And you know who hates it worse than me, Jay? All the guys in the Oilers defensive core. They hate it worse than I hate it. So it ain't working. Move on.
Yep. Totally fair. Spec, have yourself an awesome weekend. We will talk to you on Monday.
All right, brother. Have a great weekend, all.
There you go. That's Mark Spector and the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. When we return, Craig Button will join us on the Gregor Show with Wanye Gretz, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, live on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
Get your vehicle ready for winter with Jiffy Lube. Drive-in, drive-out service with 25 extra air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Be wise, winterize. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, and buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
They say there ain't no I in team,
And maybe so, but a K has a nice ring to it. In fact, 10K is how we roll at the Canadian Brewhouse. The CBH offers a teams and leagues program with a chance at free offers and exclusive deals. Plus, book your fundraising event at our house, and you'll automatically be entered to win $10,000 for your group. Whatever your sport choice, we hope to put 10K in your team, if you know what I mean. Sign up today at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Christensen Communities. Have peace of mind knowing your loved one is in the best possible hands. Christensen Communities have safe retirement living options across the province and now welcoming new residents. Visit cdlhomes.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
5:25. Positive Friday in the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Thanks as always for listening and watching. Make your way home safe. Please turn your lights on. Okay, that little button just turns to auto, so then your lights are on all the time. All right, that would be very much appreciated. Let's get to our big guest of the day. Brought to you by Silent Rides, Alberta's premier bus charter company with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your team to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca. As Craig Button, former NHL GM and scout, now ace analyst and scout for TSN, joins us as he always does on Friday. Butts, how are you, my man?
I am good, Jason. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. So I want to ask you, the Edmonton Oilers, to me, they've had an issue for a while where they can't, or I shouldn't say can't, because they've shown they can. They're unable to commit consistently to being sound defensively where they're not gifting easy goals on a regular basis. That's been a problem. Last year, they cleared it up for a little bit down the stretch, then it reared its ugly head again in the playoffs. And obviously, we saw it last night, 3 of them, and it's been a problem for a lot of this. So how do you fit? To me, I think it's got to be on the players. They play the game. They can hold themselves more accountable than any coach ever can, right? The coach can, sit a guy shift here or there. Sure, that might get some guys' attention, and I guess it did work for Vander Kane. But ultimately, what do you think happens here? Because until the Oilers figure that out, they're not going anywhere.
It's interesting. The general manager, president of the Oilers is Ken Holland, and this is something that was very similar with the Detroit Red Wings back in the 90s. And then Scotty came in and, they lost in 95 and 4 straight in the Stanley Cup final. And then they were a phenomenal team in 96 before losing to Colorado in the conference final. And, they had to change their team. You can ask players to do things, but it's one thing to say players are willing to do it. It's not about willing to do it or trying to do it. It's about embracing it and being able to do it. They don't have enough players able to do it, Jason. And I think this is on management. I said it last week. I'll continue to say, Connor Brown was added in the summer, and all of a sudden they became Stanley Cup favorites. It defies logic, in my view. I don't see it. I never saw it, and I certainly don't see it now. And I think this is a matter of roster construction. And I don't think this team is anywhere near good enough to do what they need to do to be successful come playoff time against good teams. Listen, Their 2-6-1 record, I don't think anybody would say that they're not better than that. I think everybody would agree on that. But when we talk about trying to build out your roster and trying to build a team that could be, and Ken Holland was front and center in Detroit when they were confronted with the same thing, and they made some significant moves. They moved out players that couldn't grind, couldn't be hard to play against, weren't going to be hard to play against, and they added players that could be. And I don't think until the Oilers do that, they're not Stanley Cup contenders. Not at the top of the list.
Yeah, well, in a flat cap with very limited room, that's going to be very difficult to do during the season, right? So
okay, so you say that, right? Okay. So you just throw up your hands?
No. I think you could do one or two, but if you think they need like 4 or 5, I don't know if there's a team that does that many. Is all I'm saying. A few, 100%.
They drafted Marty Lapointe. They drafted Marty Lapointe in 1991.
Yeah.
So obviously he was 20 in 1993. He was evolving. They make a trade for Chris Draper. They didn't add everybody all at the same time, but they understood what they needed to do and how they need to go about it. And Ken Holland should, in my view, I think he knows that better than anybody. But if a manager starts telling me how hard it is and the cap and the flat cap, well, good. You can't do it. We'll get somebody else to do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. That's totally fair.
But you're charging hundreds of dollars for tickets. Suites are cost, and you're going to tell me how hard it is? Oh, well, yeah. Go tell that to the people that are working in the cold and are grinding it out every day to save up money to go to the games. I don't buy it for one bit from any manager or anybody in this league telling me how hard it is to do a job. The job is on management. They haven't done a good enough job, Jason.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, no, that's totally valid. That's fair. I will say this. I look at the players on the team, Craig, and if management hasn't done their job, that's totally valid. I don't think the players have come close to doing their job on a consistent enough basis either. Like, I agree they might not be defensive stalwarts, but I don't believe they're, and I watch lots of other games, I don't see a team that consistently gifts goals as often as they do. Right? Like on just mistakes that I don't know if you saw, well, I'm sure you saw it. Evan Bouchard on the fourth goal, there's no coach anywhere that will tell you to just float over away and vacate the middle of the ice. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to make that play. None.
Evan Bouchard is what Evan Bouchard is. You either accept Evan Bouchard for what he is, or you can look for holes in his game. That's the way Evan Bouchard's played since he was 15 years old. And if you think you're changing it just because you need to be you need to pay attention, that's not his game. Like, go back and look. I mean, the Detroit Red Wings had Ray Shepard and Paul Eisenbart and Dino Cicerelli. They had and Scotty, he loves skill. He wanted to work with them. They can't do it. So, again, it's one thing to say, oh, I'm willing to do it. Can you do it well? And will you embrace it? And can you do it well? And those two things have to be done together. You're asking Evan Bouchard to do something he can't do. It's like asking somebody to do what Evan Bouchard does. The composition and construction of the team isn't good enough, Jason. And you can say the players are and everything, and I know what you're saying, and I'm not saying it's all on management, but the team isn't good enough to be considered a top contender.
Greg Button joins us. What about the Calgary Flames?
Well, I mean, what about them? I mean, I thought Edmonton, and let's be straight here. I mean, the last two games for the Flames and the Oilers, both of them played well enough to win, I thought. But the key mistakes at the wrong times of the games, that's why they're near the bottom of the league. And, Ottinger plays great against the Flames. Wedgwood comes in and plays great against the Oilers. So, it's not like they don't got parts of their game in order. But, I mean, here's the math. 96 points to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. So in the Oilers' next 73 games, that's 96 points. That means you got to finish 14 games over 500. You got to win 14 more games than you lose. Well, the Oilers now have to win 18 more games than they lose over their next 73. And the Flames have to win 19 more than they lose over their next 72. Just do the math. It's hard enough to get 96 points to win 14 more games in 82 games. Now you started off the way they are. The math is really, really there and tells you how difficult it is. These two teams are both in trouble.
Are you buying the Vancouver Canucks?
You have to. You have to. You have to. Like, you know, I know you start off and, you know, the first 2 games of the season, you go, okay, you know, Edmonton didn't play great game 1. Game 2, they made a couple of blunders, but, you know, Vancouver gets out of it, you know, a terrific game by Casey DeSmith. But now they're going and they're beating teams, like different teams, different quality of teams, and they're rolling. And again, there's every reason to not have faith in them or to not fully believe. But right now, I don't think there's any question. I mean, Quinn Hughes right now is the best defenseman in the league. He's playing the best in the league. You got Elias Pettersson, who's right up at the top. But the way they're playing and the way they're committed to playing, and again, we talked about defensive play. Ian Cole and Carson Soucy are not top-notch defensemen. But when I say top-notch, I'm talking about the top 2 pair defensemen for the most part. But they add an element of like embracing and being able to dig in defensively.
Yeah.
And that's how they do it. Like, I'm not telling anybody that Edmonton has to go and get, you know, another star forward or another star defenseman. That what they need is more of that. This is how we're going to dig in. Like think about it. And I'm not saying like it's easy now, but think about Radko Gudas. Radko Gudas is what he is. He's a bottom pair defenseman. But that type of player that says, no way, you're not, everything against me is going to be hard. Everything. That's an attitude. That's a mentality. That's a type of player.
Yeah.
And so I think that what Tocchet has done with his group and certainly the additions they made in the offseason, you know, we all have ideals of how we'd like our team to look, but you can make improvements, sometimes incrementally, sometimes a little bit more than incrementally. But I think the Vancouver Canucks have to be taken seriously.
Greg Button joins us from TSN. Greg, I want to get your thoughts on the whole handling of the Ottawa Senators situation. A, how they got to a first-round draft pick out of this, and B, the lack of transparency in the entire situation.
Yeah, you know, I guess two separate things. I mean, you know, Lou Lamoriello, when I first became a manager, he and I've known Lou for a long time, but we were talking, and he said to me, he goes, Craig, you know, keep this in mind. He goes, you know what? It's your job to know the rules, the regulations, rules, everything regarding it. He goes, and, you know, there's no excuse for not knowing. If you make a misstep, that's on you. And he said, make sure you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. So the Ottawa Senators clearly did not have that. It was disorganized. You have a trade, no trade clause, no movement clause, whatever it is. You get it, you file it, you keep it in order. They didn't do that. And, you know, people think, oh, first round draft pick, you know, it's a violation and it's pretty severe. Well, it is. But the Vegas Golden Knights got their names dragged through the mud. And the reputation of the league, you know, on trade deadline, you know, it takes a hit. But the Vegas Golden Knights were none too happy about it because they're saying we didn't do anything wrong. And, you know, we're proceeding with the idea that, you know, this is that we're doing the right things. And then you find out that you're not allowed to do that. You go, what happened here? So the league does an investigation. We can answer whether it should have been done sooner. I mean, I'm speaking more to what Michael Andlauer said and the transparency of it. I mean, I think it's real simple. I mean, it was a violation of the CBA. It was a violation of the CBA. That's what it was. Because when you do a trade call, you have to be able to say, yes, he has a no move clause, and here it is, or no, there isn't a no move clause. They told the Vegas Golden Knights there was no no move clause. There's no problem. Well, that's a clear violation, and when you have a violation like that, you're going to pay a price. Now, you know, transparency. I know we talked about, like, you know, what should be, you know, the Shane Pinto thing, the Shane Pinto 41-game suspension, now this and everything. You know, would I like to see more? Here's what I would say. Yes, I'd like to see more. I think we'd all like to see more. And I would try to encourage the league and the Players Association to try to be more transparent in these regards. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you're dragging anybody through the slog, but it does. I think it helps everybody understand a little bit better.
Yeah, well, I'd say this. It's 2023. The most simple thing that should happen at the league is every contract, I know it gets into the database, You should have the list. So every year and there's teams that have the 10-team no-trade list, okay, so the agent sends it to the Ottawa Senators, then they send it to the league. So the league now has it for everybody, right? And they know it. Like, to me, how there's not one now in 20, if you didn't have one 10 years ago, fine. Technology is way easier now, Craig. To me, the league should be proactive and say, okay, we don't want this to happen to anybody. It sucks for Ottawa. It sucks for Anaheim. It sucked for Vegas at the time. It sucks for our league's image. It's not good, right? It's like when the PHWA screwed up with the Ovechkin thing, they fixed the problem, right? So fix the problem, league. Don't just say, well, it's on the teams. Make it so this doesn't happen moving forward.
I'm 100% with you. The contracts are all on file there. Teams can go look up contracts.
Yes.
Just put the MACs or the NTCs right there. Let the teams know. You got to keep them updated if it changes, and they do change, as you well know. Update them, and that's on the team. But I'm full on board with that and using technology to everybody's advantage. Because again, it's a violation. It's you're responsible for it, but there's no reason why you can't ensure that you mitigate against these types of situations to the greatest extent possible.
Craig, have a good weekend. We will chat with you next Friday.
We will. You have a great weekend too, Jason.
That's Craig Button from TSN. When we come back, we'll get to Wanye's World and more on the Friday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Winter weather is hard on your vehicle. Help keep it in top shape with Pennzoil Ultra Motor Oil from Jiffy Lube. Oil changes on your schedule and 25 bonus air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Are you one of those people out there looking for something different to heat and cool your home? Weiss Johnson is Edmonton's cold climate heat pump specialist and would love to explain to you how Trane heat pumps are a reliable, cost-effective alternative for your home's heating and cooling needs. Order your Trane heat pump now and take advantage of the generous government rebates that are available. Trane, it's hard to stop a Trane. Call the most experienced HVAC company around with over 45 years in business. Visit wjcools.com today.
Join the conversation on men's health and agriculture. November 16th, AFSC and Do More Ag present Bro Talk, Breaking the Silence. Listen to the real-life stories of men who have faced mental health challenges and discover practical tips and tools to navigate this journey. Connect with others, explore personal experiences, and support one another. Session takes place on Zoom November 16th from 12 to 1 p.m. Register online for this virtual session at afsc.ca. Bro Talk, November 16th. We'll watch out for each other together.
Your old furnace can die in the blink of an eye, so why take that chance this winter? Eric Mikowski here, head of the family at Furnace Family. The time for a new furnace is now. Not only will you have peace of mind on those cold winter nights, you will save money on those super expensive gas bills. Unsure? Furnace Family can come check your furnace, and if you buy a new one from us, the check is free. Daikin has an industry-leading lifetime warranty on their heat exchangers. It could be the last furnace you ever buy. Visit furnacefamily.com. Jingle time.
Done right, day or night, furnacefamily.com.
Cheers to working together for a good cause. From now to December 31st, Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual Camrose and Tree Brewing Company are donating $1 from every pint sold to Kids Sport Camrose. Now at Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual Camrose.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Professional athletes use aquatic therapy, radial shockwave, zero-gravity treadmills, and pneumatic recovery devices for rehab. Leading Edge Physiotherapy offers those to you because sports shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Sports radio is back.
The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We're set to wrap up, man. This is a busy show. The text line was humming. I think we set a record today for most texts during the Jason Gregor Show. So that is fantastic. We appreciate all of your input. Lots of new texters. Everybody's understanding the rules. Put your name on it. Then we put you in the system. We got you saved forever. So always remember that. And then we can... then we don't have to put your name on it. If you do it once, we got it saved, because then when I get a text from you, it just pops up with your name. And I'm like, oh, look, I'm talking to Jordan or Samson. And Buck 75. So who says, hey, guys, up there, he went to Mundare today. He's giving us benches now have heaters, +7 outside, -7 inside. Nothing has changed. That was a cold rink, man. Mundare. Although I still think the coldest arena I ever played in was Andrew as a kid. Like, I remember some of our kids were crying on the bench. Their feet were so cold. And I was wearing a toque underneath my helmet. So I was just like, as you're a kid, when you're 10, like, you kind of have empathy, but not a ton of it. And you're just like, some of the kids didn't want to play. I was like, oh, more ice time for us. But I do remember, like, guys were like in intermission, they're going to get toques on. Like, it was freezing. That was the coldest rink I've ever played in, bar none. It was chilly. Let's get to Wanye's World, brought to you by Action Electrical. They do a lot of different things. Like they have the electrical preventative maintenance for commercial buildings. Stuff you don't know, Wanye. Or at least I don't know, like infrared testing.
I know that.
To make sure that you have it.
You
Energized and de-energized testing.
You got to de-energize.
Of course.
What, are you an idiot?
Yeah, well, clearly.
Come on.
They're not, though.
No, they know.
ActionElectrical.net. Here's Wanye's World.
I know everybody's miserable today, and I get it, and I understand, but there's an enormous silver lining going on right now for me and for a lot of Oilers fans, and that is that Sam Gagner is back on his 3rd tour of duty with the Oilers. Let's take a look at this guy. We drafted him back in 2007, 6th overall, and promptly rushed him into the league at 18 and made him play 79 games in his rookie season. If you fast forward to 2023, he's only 34 years old, but the way people talk about him in NHL player years, he's like 106. We put so many miles on this guy's odometer early on in his career. He has 1,015 games played in the NHL. Ekholm is less than a year younger, and he has 747 games played. Think of how much hockey Sam Gagner has played by the age of 34. His career plus minus Gregor's dash 137.
Yeah, there's some tough years in Edmonton.
We did that to him. We put all these miles on his odometer. And for him to come back and do what he did last night, scoring 2 goals in his NHL debut this season, it has to send a message to other players in the room about how much this guy's willing to will his way into the league. And I don't know how you can sit 2 stalls down from a guy who's shaken off hip surgery in the offseason and come back to score 2 goals. It has to send a message.
Well, I will say this. I was told that the captain had expressed that it was perfect timing to have Gagner come to the room, and that, maybe some of the things you just mentioned are some of the things that they recognize as him as a human being. And just, he's Sam Gagner obviously has some warts to his game, but he has lots of experience. And I think he has lots of wisdom. And I also think there's a player who knows how to communicate, and I think has the respect of the other guys that can. I don't care who you are, you can never be above criticism inside an NHL dressing room or an NFL dressing room or any dressing room to be on a successful team, and those guys should want it. The best players should want someone to say, hey, you know what, when it's not going. Now, of course, might only happen once a year because they're pretty good. So, you know what, most times they are going. But that's what you need, and maybe that's what Sam Gagner will be.
I can't wait to watch him play. I love Sam Gagner.
He is, he's a very beloved character for a variety of reasons. I think in the decade of darkness, Oiler fans, well, unless you're naturally negative, you needed to find something to give you enjoyment of watching the game, right? And so Sam Gagner, he fought Ryan Kessler. Right. Then he fought Craig Conroy off of fate. Remember when Pat Quinn, for opening game of Sam Gagner's 3rd season. So Sam Gagner had scored 49 points, 41 points back-to-back years as a rookie and second year. So not a huge sophomore drop-off. Not huge numbers, but nobody he was a top 6 scoring forward both teams, both years. Comes to training camp, Pat Quinn's a new head coach. On opening night, Sam Gagner finds himself on the 4th line. Guy who's been in your top 6 the last 2 years. You're kind of like, what? So what does Sam Gagner do? Calgary scores to make it 3-1 midway through the second period. Off the ensuing face-off. The face-off. Gagner, I don't know what he says. He's 20 years old. Convinces Craig Conroy to fight off the face-off. Right? And the crowd goes nuts. Now, the Oilers end up losing the game 4-3. They have another tough year. But those are the moments where fans look at Sam Gagner's not a fighter, but he's willing to fight. He's playing fourth line. He's doing whatever is necessary in his role and just say, yeah, you want me to get noticed? I'll get noticed, right? Get outside your comfort zone. He's always shown he's able to. He understands that sometimes you got to get outside your comfort zone. He's always done it. And so, then obviously you fast forward a few years later and he has the game of his life. He ties Gretzky and Coffey with a record that even McDavid and Draisaitl will be hard pressed to do. They've never had 7 points. Let alone 8. And that was kind of at the peak. And it came against a team that had just won the Stanley Cup, right? It was a very good team. And so Sam Gagner, I think for many years, gave Oiler fans moments that said, okay, at least I get to be a fan and have fun for a while.
There are some Oilers that are on one side of the chasm, and no matter what they do, they can do no right with large segments of Oilers fans. And then there's very, very few Oilers, but there's some that make it to the other side of the Gulf and they're beloved. Ryan Smith was one. And I think Sam Gagner is one too. I think with large swaths of Oilers fans, they're just thrilled to see him back here. He's a guy that they can get behind and they've known for a long time. And he's as advertised.
Yeah, and you know what? Good for Sam. I don't think anybody should expect Sam Gagner to be your offensive catalyst most nights out. But you know what? He has. I said it yesterday on the show. I said Sam Gagner scored 8 goals in 48 games last year, people. That prorates to 14. So if Sam Gagner has the offensive awareness to score 12, 13 goals for your team. I have no doubt in my mind that he could do that. Right now, obviously, he got off to a great start. So now he only needs 11 in 73 games.
He may have scored 30 goals worth of games last night. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have.
We'll see.
But
games worth of goals.
He'll bring energy and emotion. I'll mark my words. I think in the next 10 games, Sam Gagner will drop the gloves. Because he's always kind of done that. I know some people don't, and maybe I'm old school here, but I think those little things matters at times. I really do. So, hey, guys, Gagner's jersey will go up in Rogers eventually. Austin, my man, I can tell you it won't.
It's a tough one.
Because it's only for Hall of Famers. But could he be voted into the Oilers Hall of Fame?
You're on the committee.
That could happen, right? It's a long time away, but I think that's something that could possibly happen for sure.
If that comes across your committee member gold desk in 8 years, Sam Gagner up for the Hall of Fame, are you voting yes?
Well,
in the distance.
I'm not allowed to discuss my
Is that
votes.
part of the
That's
thing?
Part of my thing. I can't ever discuss who I would until after the fact on who I voted for. Right? I nominated Ryan Smith. It was pretty easy. I was the one who quoted on because I was first. But other guys would have done it. I want to make that abundantly clear. It wasn't ooh, look at him. He came up with an idea that no one else would have had. Wanye Gretz had a very passionate presentation about Lee Fogling, right? I think Sam Gagner down the road is somebody who probably, because when you look at it, to me, I have certain categories. Hockey's one factor, but there's other things that go involved in being in community and doing other things, right? The first few years, it's going to be easy to get who's the guys in. There'll be some arguments probably moving forward now. Hey, these are the two guys. Doug Waite was a no-brainer. Of course he was going in, right? Charlie Huddy. I think there's a few other no-brainers. I won't mention because I don't want to impede anything, but I think most Oiler fans know who they are.
Is it 1 or 2 Oilers a year?
2's max.
2's max.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be players though, too. There can be other factors, somebody who is an equipment manager or Joey Moss or different things like that. So it doesn't have to be a player, but I would say the majority will probably be players. Wanye, have yourself a great weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home with no payment, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. Have a great weekend. Please do not drink and drive. Don't be inebriated. Get home safe. Enjoy the games. We're out.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers making a couple of moves today. Philip Broberg being loaned to the Bakersfield Condors. In a corresponding move, Raphael Lavoie recalled. Expected to make his NHL debut tomorrow. The Oilers in action taking on the Preds. Puck drop just after 1. 2 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. After 20 minutes, Philly leading Buffalo 3-0. And in about 10 minutes, St. Louis takes on the 6-2-1 New Jersey Devils. In the association, the in-season tournament getting going. Pacers lead the Caps 48-41, and the Bucks up on the Knicks 13-12. CFL playoffs will get going tomorrow as the Tiger Cats are in Montreal at 1. Then at 4:30, the Stamps host the Lions. The Oil Kings taking on the Moose Jaw Warriors tonight down at Rogers Place. That one's starting just after 7. And in the AJ, you've got 5 games on the schedule. Spruce Grove takes on Drumheller, and Sherwood Park traveling to Brooks. Both those games start at 7. University of Alberta football team hosting their first playoff game since 2005. They'll take on the University of Saskatchewan Huskies at Footfield. Puck drop at 5. The Golden Bears hockey team also taking on the Huskies at the Drake tonight and tomorrow. Both games at 7. The Pandas in Saskatchewan meeting the Huskies. That one's starting at 7 and 5. That'll do it for us here on Sports 1440 and the Jason Gregor Show. We'll be back with Fox Sports Radio at 9 o'clock, and then Carius and Douglas back 7 a.m. on Monday. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever